Yep. Hello and welcome to TSL Round 12 action live from the Twin Ovals in Hobart, Tasmania. And sorry for the delay in proceedings here on the live stream, but you've got us now. It's myself, Ryan Osdale, joined in the commentary box today by Luke Edmonds. And I'll jump in with Luke in a second as we just get our bearings here in the box. Luke, after what was a pretty promising performance in Glenorchy last week against North Hobart, they'd be hoping to back it up with another strong show against one of the informed teams in the comp.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Ryan. Any positivity out of last week can quickly get snuffed out against an opponent of the quality of Kingborough. This is as big a test as they can get away at the Twin Ovals, so we'll have to see how they stand up.
We'd hope to see, as we said, a good showing today after what was a pretty good performance against the D's last week. As we get Camrick now, one of the star moves in the comp. He kicks up forward. That's straight down the throat of the Tigers player. That's Tompkinson. A bit of pressure on from Blake Waite. Can't hold the tackle. Gives to Donnelly, who just troubles with the boundary line, but he keeps it in play. Good mark taken. I think that's Callum Thompson it is. So mark's been paid in front of Eddie Cole. So one of the young Magpies that's having a pretty good season, Callum Thompson, should have taken what he should have got there. That was Bailey Jenkins. Elijah Reardon gets him over the line. Might be holding the ball. It is. So Kieran Lovell will take the advantage. He kicks inboard. Just saw a teammate who gives it back to Lovell. Kicks inside 50 now, goes over the head of Tyler Carter. Graham's there. So is Gardner. Led to the ball well, though, by Matty Joseph. He's playing an unusual role in defence, it seems. Kicks out. Tompkinson takes a mark in the long sleeves. Fair few long sleeves out there today. We know that Tassie weather's been cold all week, and good mark taken by Eddie Cole. Gives off. Might Luke. Yeah, he's going to go short to Lovell, which isn't 15, so that was a risky kick by Eddie Cole, but Lovell around the body, looks pretty good off the boot. First one of the day, and it's a Kieran Lovell goal. The Tigers up by 1.
Lovely finish in the conditions there, Ryan. Lovell's probably already up to about 5 possessions so far in the game.
Yep.
He's just so prolific and just knows where to get, but he's not getting them in places that's going to hurt him, and as we've seen, he's already hit the scoreboard.
Yeah, he's a star. Kieran Lovell, as we know, he spent some time back in the Sandful last year, and he's come back to TSL this year. He's had a really strong start to the opening 12 rounds, 27 and a half disposals, his average, and a goal a game. So you know what a star he is, and he's a big reason as to why this Tigers outfit's had such a strong start to this year and why they're really fancied, as the ladder shows, the second best team in the comp. So we see the wind on the back of Jack Tompkinson's jersey there. Luke, that shows the conditions today aren't all that great. So footy comes back out now, and a Guernsey's is ripped off by that man in Tompkinson. Comes out to Camrick. Umpire says high, so they'll take the advantage out of the Magpies. Their first inside 50 of the day. Got options there over the back. It was Jenkins, couldn't take the mark. Donnelly leads all comers to the ball. Camrick's back at it. He knows where to find the footy. Gives off to a teammate. His kick almost smothered, but he gets it away. Tigers have the numbers in defence. They don't want to rush this through. Pressure's on, though. Might have been in the back. Play on, says the umpire. Can the Pies get a sneaky one here early in this contest? They might have to deal with the ball up here. They will. So good start here from the Pies. Plenty of numbers around this ball. Other TSL games brought to you today on the Daily Potato live stream. We've got Lauderdale and North Hobart down at the Skybus Oval. That one's just kicked off there. We have Brent Costello and Chris Rowbottom on the call there. And over at Blunston Arena, you've got Clarence and Launceston shaping up. So all 3 games down south today as Brady Simpson goes for goal misses. And obviously North Launceston with the bye. So 3 pretty cracking games of footy today. Luke, wherever you look across the Daily Potato live stream.
Absolutely. Hot footy to make up for the terrible weather we've got down in southern Tasmania this weekend. But good pressure there from Glenorchy. They didn't get the goal, but they locked it in. They've got to see if they can get another entry here.
Thompson puts this back inside 50. And that's exactly what Coach Aaron Cornelius would want. Repeat inside 50s. They get one out through Geard. He just snaps off the boot, John Geard, and that's gone through for another behind. So 2 behind so far now for the Magpies. 6 plays 2.
Plenty of numbers around the ball for the Pies there.
They have.
It's encouraging. They're going to be putting a lot of pressure on, and they've got to in these conditions, and especially early.
We saw a number of weeks ago, Luke, I think it was maybe 4 to 5 weeks ago, a game in similar conditions down at the Twins between the Tigers and North Lonnie, and North Lonnie were able to walk away with a win in similar conditions. So that'd be the main concern, you believe, for Coach Trent Bulmer, is that his side can come out early and play some good footy in terrible conditions and really get themselves off to a good start. And for the Magpies, if they can bring the heat that they brought early last week, they kicked 5 goals to 4 in the first quarter against North Hobart. So they can bring the same type of intensity to this game as they did last week. They'll give themselves every sniff, given the conditions are not really favouring either side today. Ashland gets out to a teammate in Adams. He goes over to Dygan, the vice-captain, who kicks back inside. That man's Brady Reeves with the footy, his first senior game in over 12 months, so good to see him out there. He's tackled though, holding the ball, says the umpire. So kicks back inside 50 now for the Magpies. As a few Tigers players who sat and wait. Donnelly was the first man of the ball, and he's been, I think, rewarded with a footy. No, could be a Magpies free kick, so might have been holding the ball there against Ben Donnelly, but he's the only man that really wanted the footy as he led out to it.
We've seen that a couple of times when it's come in high and no one's really known whether to... Well, they've almost had too many teammates around them and not known whether to just grab it and get
thinking the wind's going to take the footy either direction. So on that occasion, it's worked out not great for the Tigers because the Magpies will get their first shot on goal. I want to say just inside 50 is the kick will come right now. So that looks pretty good off the boot. That's gone straight through the big stick. So second goal of the day is to the Magpies, and they take the lead early in this clash 1-2-8 to 0-6-6 as we're 6 minutes gone. We'll try and get our eyes on the young Magpie that kicked that goal. Couldn't find a jump-up number on him. But good start here for the Magpies, for the visitors. As I said, they were really strong last week. Kicked 10 goals, 11-71. They were defeated, though, by North Hobart 13-12-90. But for a side that's averaged around that 3 to 5 goal mark all year, to see them kick 10 goals, and especially the 5 in the first quarter, would have been incredibly pleasing for coach Aaron Cornelius. So, again, another good start. This hasn't come up. So, free kick now to the Magpies in the centre. And we saw, Luke, last week the return of Cam Duffy in the ruck for the Magpies. Obviously out today, I think, with some SFL duties. He's a coach out at Claremont in the SFL. So really could have used him today, given the tall timber of Gardner and Tomlinson in the ruck. But good to see a former Magpie coming back to his side that has really needed some assistance, given the young brigade they've had to field in season 2022. Footy back in the hands of the Tigers through Godomski. That's not a great kick. It's gone straight down the throat of John Geard. Could have been 50 there. But the umpires let that one slide. There's a kick inboard now from Geard. Looks for Camrick. Can't get to him. Plenty of Magpies around this footy. Umpires called advantage on that. I think that's going to go through for a goal. That might have been number 2 for the Magpies. That's Blake Waite. Another one that's had a really terrific year. So third goal of the day. It's a second goal of the Magpies through Blake Waite.
Wowee. The Glenorchy's piling on the pressure, and they've got a reward there twice. 2 great finishes, one from the set shot, but that's an opportunistic goal from Waite, who's a classy-looking player. I've liked him every time I've watched them this season, Ryan. He's pretty handy, and obviously that sort of finish in these conditions is brilliant.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
And you referenced the game in horrible conditions a month or so ago. It's got to be that sustained pressure throughout the day, because we saw that Kingborough broke at the end of that game and North Launceston absolutely ran over the top of them. But if Glenorchy can keep this up, they're up to their necks in this contest.
They are spot on, Luke, and especially given, I want to say, I mentioned Blake Waite here in a player that's been in a team that's really struggled in terms of the win-loss column. He's had a really good year coming over from the Old Scholars competition. I believe he came across from uni. So for that man to get on the board early in what's been a really promising start to his TSL career. So 14 plays 6 now. We'll try and get our scoreboard fix on the screen for you. But Magpies are up 2-2, 14 to 1-0-6 as we're 9 minutes into this contest. Ball back inside now to Adams. He looks to just stop and prop and look for an option here, as we've had a pretty hot footy early. To Ash Wilkes there. He's fixed our little scoreboard up there, so eyes aren't deceiving you. The Magpies are up early in this game, 14-6. Good mark taken there by Jordan Lane. He's had a terrific season so far. He's averaging 7.6 marks a game, that man. Sitting second in the comp as Carter can't apply the tackle on Joseph. He gets a kick away, but only down the throat of Jordan Lane. And he kicks long, high, inside 50. Salter's there. So's Graham over the back. Gives off to Salter, and he should put that one through. That's Carter. Carter kicks a second for the Tigers. And that's 2 straight 12 plays, 2-2-14.
Nicely worked there by the Kingborough attack. Carter with a nice little dribbler there from, from about 1 metre out. But they worked it well. And just a little deep breath they took at centre-half back there. I think it was Adams.
Yep.
I know they sort of had a couple of quick hand passes there, but it did give them time to sort of set up.
Yep.
And they saw the benefit of that, not to be scrambling. No, don't panic. Yeah, you've got the upstarts, kicked a couple of goals, but you just do need to take those little breathers when it is such a hot footy, as you say, Ryan. And they've been duly rewarded. We've got a nice, close first quarter here.
We do, and they're a very experienced lineup now. This side's been together for the better part of 4 to 5 years under coach Trent Bulmer. So Zach Adams is one that knows he's a cool head under pressure. There's Blake Waite against Godomski there. Godomski wins out on that occasion. Gives off to a teammate who's got a lot of Magpies around him. One of them, Simpson, who gets a little hand on that ball, and that takes it over the boundary line, which will end up being a free kick to the Magpies through Tom McCann. So McCann, he's got a teammate on. He elects to go over the top. And a good mark taken in the top of the square there to Riley Oakley. Now he's fumbled that over. So opportunity going begging there for the Magpies, as I said. 2-2-14, 2-0-12, so good start. Set a side that's really only teetered around that 3 to 5 goal mark all year. Kicked 10 last week, a really good showing, and 2 on the board already so far today. So Magpies are on the up in the past 2 weeks as Gardner wins that one down to Lovell. He just breaks away. Plenty of Tigers in the long sleeves today. Tells you how cold it is. Might have been a high tackle on Thompson, it is. So that one against the skipper in Clifford. And Callum Thompson will get a shot on goal to potentially put through Glenorchy's 3rd of the day.
The pressure's been great from the Pies up forward.
They've
been able to lock it in again, repeating ourselves, but in here we go with another set shot opportunity. And the way the conditions are going, he's fancy himself to make the distance here. Yeah,
the wind might carry him home here, Callum Thompson. So that's a high ball. That's going to go to the top of the goal square. Plenty of players there, a lot of them Tigers, and Gardner fisted that one through 4 behind. So that now takes Glenorchy to 2-3-15, 2-0-12. As I said, you've got plenty of TSL round 12 action on your AFL Taz YouTube page today, so you might have to get the phone, the TV and the laptop out if you want to watch all 3 games, because there's 3 crackers wherever you look. As that kick isn't great, it's gone straight down the throat of Benny Camrick, who gives a handball over to Thompson. He gets a kick away now, not to anyone in particular. He's found the boundary line on that occasion. So Rudin will get to have his kick again. It's better on that occasion. Lovell dropped what he should have taken every day of the week. Thompson's on his tail now. Gives off to a teammate in Dygan. Dygan kicks up and under to Camrick, who's had the ball on a string so far in this game, Benny Camrick. 30.6 disposals. His disposal average for the year. 2nd in the comp, only to Ben Simpson. As Joseph gets a kick away, smothered off the boot though by Godomski, who follows up his own ball work. He's going to get tackled holding the ball there. So, Luke, you spoke about that forward line pressure, and it's hot early, isn't it?
3 Magpies there ready to swoop on Godomski, and there must have been a bit of chat, and they've got the 50, and well, that makes a certain goal out of what was going to be a pretty difficult attempt for the Maggies. And as you say, they've basically hit half their average score per game. 13 minutes into the first quarter here. Have we got a boil over in stall? We could indeed, because Matty Joseph made the umpire work, but he's put it through the big sticks in the end. So that's 3-3-21 now for Glenorchy. 2-0-12 the Tigers as we tick into the 13.5-minute mark. And a bit of chatter there between Benny Camrick and Kieran Lovell in the middle. We'd like to see that from 2 of the premier on-ballers in the comp. Potentially just letting him know that the Pies have come to play today, because, as we said, 3-3-21 and hold a little nice 9-point lead, and they have really controlled the play for the majority of this contest so far in the opening 14 minutes. But yes, if you watched the game last week, you would have seen a very much improved Glenorchy outfit, and if you're watching along on the live stream today, it's much of the same for the opening parts of this game. Ball goes back up now. Gardner wins that one down against McGuinness. Camrick again with the footy. Graham applies a good tackle on him. He's able to get his handball away though as Ben Camrick. Kick forward now
Tigers with a lot of pressure now. Donnelly is a cool head in defence, kicks away. Up the line. A few Tigers there. One of them's Clifford, the skipper. Can't get his handball away. He does eventually. Not 21 in particular, though. Might have been high there. Play on, says the umpire. Simpson can't get it in and we'll get a boundary throw in.
The players who are getting that good grasp of the footy are definitely having more of an impact. We've seen a number, and some of the bigger names have spilled a few in these conditions. Clean, crisp use of the footy is going to be really important as we go forward.
It's going to be hot early in this game, and as you said, Luke, it's going to be the players that can get clean possession early that are really going to be able to advantage their team. And so far in the opening 15 minutes, that's been the majority of the Tigers players. You saw Kieran Lovell, who's really a slick mover of the footy, drop it what he should have taken a few minutes ago. So that shows you that the conditions aren't great. As Clifford gets a handball out. Well played there by Waite to stop his foot on that ball. It would have been penalised with kicking in danger. Kick away now by the Magpies. Adams. He's got teammates over the top. One of them's Julian Parker. Gives off to Luke Graham. He goes up the line now looking for Salter. He can't take the mark in front of Roberts. Roberts works out well there, although he slips, recovers, gets his kick away, kicks a high ball inside 50, but that one's going to go out of bounds on the full. So conditions, as we said, been a pretty rainy and wet day in Hobart.
Well, look at the goalposts in our camera view here, swaying in the wind. And the shrubbery in front of the function centre there is all blowing around. It's really difficult on days like this to use the ball effectively.
It is 11 degrees is what my phone's telling me, Luke. So it is cold out there, but with that wind around, you'd think it'd feel like about 7-8 degrees for these players. It's Ashland. Gives off to a teammate in Graham. It gives back to Riley Ashland. He just kicks an up and under ball inside 50. Mark might have been taken there. It is by Adams. So good grab by the wingman. He kicks a little one round the corner. He's got a teammate on. That was Parker in defence. Can't get to him. Footy back out now. Mark's taken by Carter. So Tyler Carter chopped that one off and he'll get a shot on goal for potentially his second goal of the day. But instead he gives a handball away to Luke Graham. And around the body, that's not his best off the boot, Luke Graham. He puts that through for the Tigers' first point of the day. 2-1-13, 3-3-21.
Here's a chance for Glenorchy to head up the near side wing. But they've still got a lot of numbers around the ball every time there's been a contest.
They do.
Ball use hasn't been great, but they've got numbers. The Magpies are definitely swooping. And here we go with another 450 entry.
Donnelly, what can he do? Short little kick out. It's a good one in front of Adams. Plays to his advantage. Get the ball he can, it bounce for him. So he gets a kick down the line now. Looks for a teammate in Graham. He's got opponents everyone around him, so we'll get another boundary throw in. We will bring you score updates from around the grounds throughout this clash. We have a hot start early at Skybus, Luke. 2 goals, 3 North Hobart to yet to score Lauderdale. So the D's, after they said their strong win against the Pies last week, have had a good start down at Skybus. No score update yet from Blunson Arena in that top 4 clash between Lonnie and Clarence, but the Roos would fancy themselves a sniff today given the out of Joby Harper, who was an absolute menace last week, towed up I think 42 disposals and a couple of goals, but out today due to work commitments is Joby Harper, so the Roos might fancy themselves a sniff over at home. Footy back in now. Sorry.
It looks like a day for at least potential upsets.
It does,
results are already what we're seeing so far here and over at Skybus Oval for sure.
So we could, potentially see 3 upsets, which is what we like to see. On the TSL Daily Potato live stream, the man with the footy there is Noah Clifford, who made his debut 3 weeks ago against the Demons and kicked 2 on debut, did that young man. So he's held his spot for the last 3 weeks, which is good to see. Trent Bulmer has kept the faith with him. Good mark taken there by Dygan. Against 2, he had to beat Dilger and Arnold, 2 experienced Glenorchy players, and he did that on that occasion. All inside now. Tyler Carter's got the sit. The mark's been taken in defence there by Adam Roberts. He gives off to the skipper in Arnold, who brings it to the commentary side wing at Skybus, Twin Ovals. So ball inside 50 again now for the Tigers. Arnold's on the bottom of that pack. He's just looking at hoping for a whistle. Might have been taken high at the end of that, but umpire says play on. Ball comes out now to Brady Rees. As we said, first game in a number of months for that young man. Good to see him back out in the senior lineup for the Tigers. That one's going to trickle almost to the boundary line. The umpire says it did go out of bounds, so we'll hit the post, so we'll get another ball in. As we see that, the trees in the wind there, Luke, tells you the conditions down at the Twins. Even on a good day, it's not great down at the Twins, but today it will be very, very windy and cold down there. Footy back in now. Carter, as he does every week, takes that ruck tap and tries to get it straight away. And John Geard knew what he was going to do on that occasion. He gets caught holding the ball. Most weeks he gets away with that. Tyler Carter is able to get the ruck tap and swing around and give to a teammate or get his kick away at goal. And on that occasion, well worked by John Geard. Mark's taken there by Will Brom. 50 metres is a call, so that's 250 so far today for the Tigers.
And in these sort of conditions, 50 metres is worth a lot.
It is probably worth 100, isn't
conditions, it? And here we go. No one's on the mark. He's taken as much distance as he can.
Yeah, so that looks pretty good.
Through the middle.
So Will Brom, who Luke's pointed out, no one's on the mark, and that's going to cost you every day of the week. So that'll be 4-3-27 now for the Pies. 2-1-13 the Tigers as we tick in a time on here in the first quarter at the Twin Ovals.
Yeah, Trent Baumler is a pretty relaxed in the coach's box, but he'd be furious at that.
Yep.
You concede a 50, that's bad enough, but to not have the accountability, have somebody at least near the umpire so that there's a little bit of a stop.
Yep.
But he got all the momentum taking his 50 metres and then just carried right through the sticks. What a great heads-up play, really. Good smarts.
Yeah, spot on, Luke. Trent is a very relaxed operator, and he will not be happy with that one for a 50 and then a free run at goal from the paint at 50. Yeah, he would definitely be speaking about that at quarter time. You'd have to think. The Tigers coach, his footy's back out now to Clifford. He's got Joseph for company. Good tackle. Tried to play it well there. Eddie Cole added some support there as gives out to the Lovell now. The Tigers really want another one before quarter time just to steady that shipper's lane. Take that most weeks. He wasn't happy with the call from the umpire. And that one's going to find the boundary line. So speak about a guy like Jordan Lane. He's had a really good year. 7.5 marks a game and 2.5 goals. He's in the top 10 for marks taken, for average marks taken per game and goals taken, and goals kicked per game, I should say. So coming over from Signet this year, look, he's had a really good start to his TSL career. Yeah,
he's a tower of strength across half forward. What a luxury to be able to bring a player of that talent in from a local area to bolster a side that was close last year and obviously is backing themselves to go a lot further this year.
Yep, and all the talk.
And he'll be a big part of it.
Yeah, he will. Yeah,
every time you see him out there, he's got strong hands, works so well across that half forward region, pushes up the wing when he has to, but and doesn't get any shorter late in these sort of games.
Yeah, correct. And all the talk probably pre-season and probably the earlier parts of the season was on that man on the mark there, Jack Tomkinson, because of where he'd come from with the Brisbane Lions Academy. He's had a really good year, no doubt, but Jordan Lane's great mark taken there. That man's Riley Oakley. He flew, cut me off, but yeah, I thought that Jordan Lane's probably had, out of the Tigers' tours, he's had a really strong start to the year, but enough about Lane, because Riley Oakley has almost taken what could potentially be on the socials this week as TSL Mark of the Week. That was a terrific mark from that man. And he'll get a shot on goal from dead in front, about 10 metres out. You wouldn't think he'd miss this unless the wind takes the footy in a direction. And I've given him the old commentator's curse there, Luke. That's gone straight the other way with the wind. And he's missed what he should have kicked there, Riley Oakley.
It's almost like there was a gust between when he dropped the ball. He's moved his leg a different way. Like he had to compensate for the gust of wind. And look at it, just smashing these guys in our
camera. Yeah. Bit of rain on the camera there, so we've got Simon a little on the camera, so we thank him. Standing out in the cold.
There's that pressure again by the Pies, just keeping it in.
Yep.
And they might be rewarded here.
Yep. Called it perfectly, Luke. They're going to get rewarded here.
And here's Blowfield, who's pretty handy with the footy. Tough conditions, and the wind, as you say, you just hit and hope a little bit, but I think he's doing the right thing at this stage of the quarter. Have a ping, see what you can do. There's plenty of Tigers back.
Late in the first quarter. Blowfield, first game in a number of weeks for that man. That's when he's best off the boot. Didn't trouble the goal umpire at all there. And that went straight down the throat of Cooper Sorty. So he'll look to repel this out of the back 50. Just taken inside, the umpire says to Adams. So he's going to play on now. Gets around Brady Simpson pretty easily. Kicks up the line. It's not a good kick. Roberts almost took the mark. Umpire says he did. So can the Pies get one more here before the quarter time siren? Really their stamp on this game early. Mark taken there by Ashland. He just says to settle things down now.
I think that's the right play with the score the way it is. And they've really been left off the hook with a couple of shots there missed by the Magpies. If they got one more of those to go through, this would be looking great.
No, what are we? 8 scoring shots to 3. So they've really controlled the play, especially when they've gone inside 50, the Magpies. And you'd have to think Coach Aaron Cornelius will be very, very pleased with the start from his side today. As we said, these sides faced off earlier in the year, round 5, I believe, at KG5, and it was a really big win in the end for the Tigers, 19-17, 131. Glenorchy 3-5-23, and the Tools on that day dominated. Lane, Carter and Donnelly bobbed up with 4 and Gardner with 3. So to see them come out today and have a really strong start is what Coach Aaron Cornelius would have wanted. And if you're watching along and you're a Glenorchy supporter on the Daily Potato Co live stream, it's exactly the start you would have wanted for your team. Just Waite gets that one out in front of Godomski, gets his kick away. There's Blake Waite inside 50 now. McGuinness is there, led to the footy by Sorty, but he does well there. McGuinness, he gives off to a teammate. That man was Oakley. Good tackle though applied there. One of Pies up forward, and again, you spoke about it earlier, Luke, that pressure up forward's been 110% from the Magpies so far, and on that occasion it was Josh Whitford.
And you talk about the Pies supporters who'd be tuning in. They'd be loving the manner about the way that their team's going about it. Intensity, not wasting the footy.
They might have a chance here. Another sniffs through Thompson. Sorry, that man's Brom, the goal kicker from earlier. So he does it on that occasion. The Vanderline beats him. And score update down at Skybus. 3-8-26. The Demons yet to score Lauderdale. So we know what the wind can do down at Skybus, and the Demons, I think, might have the wind advantage in the first quarter.
Speaking of the wind, that throw-in just
took it, didn't it?
Died like a broken down old Merc on a cold morning. Hasn't had its battery charged properly.
It did. It wasn't the best, but we'll get a rerun here. So recharge now is that throw-in. Comes out to Tompkinson, who wins it down. Camry gets around a couple, does well there, gives off to a teammate in Blowfield. He kicks one behind on that occasion. So 4-5-29. The Magpies now to 2-1-13 Tigers. So we ticking almost a 27-minute mark, so you wouldn't think there's too long left in this quarter. So we get a kick out now through Sorty, who just streams out 30 from goal and tries to find Jordan Lane, but Mark can't be taken. Graham teeters with the boundary line, so does Gardner, who picks up the footy. Whistle's being blown though by the umpire. I think the call's high. So Graham will get the free kick against Adam Roberts. So Luke Graham, he's had a really strong year this year, as Luke Graham. 16.5 disposals and 1.5 goals a game, sitting in the top 20 for goals kicked a game this year. Luke Graham, he knows how to find the big sticks, that man. Kicks up forward now. Jordan Lane almost took it, but the boundary line beat him. So Josh Arnold, no, not a kick in. We'll get a throw in. Bounce just over the line on that occasion. So ball back in now. Tompkinson goes up against Luke Brown. The Magpies to defend this ball, but the boundary line moves him out on that occasion. See the skipper there in Josh Arnold. He's had to shoulder a lot of load so far this year. He's played predominantly as a defender in his time in the Magpies jumper, part of that 2015 flag. He's a really good lockdown defender, and he's had to float between the midfield and the forward line and the defence, given the situation of his side this season with so much young talent coming through. But he's had a really strong year as Josh Arnold, 18.5 disposals a game, his average. So good to see the skipper leading from the front. Get another kick in here. So the Tigers will look to repel back inside through Golding. He kicks a high ball, almost taken there by Salter and Lane, but neither could take the mark. Lane might have been taken high. Umpire potentially missed one there. And let Josh Arnold know about it too to Jordan Lane as he came down. So he's going to contest this ruck tap, so he can't be too groggy overhead. So plenty of Tigers in the long sleeves today. Lovell, one of those. He gets a footy now. Gets around a couple, Kieran Lovell. That's pretty good from the former Hawthorn Hawk. But on that occasion, kicks that one through. 4 behind. So 2-2-14. 4-5-29. And Luke, what do you think the message would be from Coach Trent Bournemouth at quarter time, given the start that the Pies have had?
He's not a panicker, Trent Bournemouth, at all.
Yep.
They've got to have used to the same conditions in the second quarter, I think it'll be pretty cool, calm and collected. But if it stays like this at half-time, when they can shut the doors and not be observed by so many prying eyes of journalists and footy supporters generally, you might have a bit more of a bake if it stays that way. But you got to applaud the pressure and intensity and just skill level of Glenorchy in these conditions. They're doing a great job.
Yeah,
but the pressure's on them now. This is state league footy. You've got to keep it up for the whole game.
Yeah, you think that'll be the message from the opposing coach, Aaron Cornelius, at quarter time. It's a good start, but as we know, footy's a 4-quarter game, and you can't just have one good quarter and expect everything to fall your way. You've got to continue the pressure and the intensity that you've started the game with.
No, so, and a few pats on the back this week for an improved effort last week is great, but footy clubs, you can't survive too many weeks on pats on the back.
Correct, and we know Aaron Cornelius is a premiership coach and he spent time across a lot of clubs. Obviously he played in the AFL. We know he's a coach with a winning mentality. Obviously he knows that where his side is this year, but he goes out every week to win a game of footy, so he'd expect his side to bring the effort into the second quarter as the siren blows for just that. So end of quarter one here at the Twin Ovals, and it's Glenorchy leading this clash 4-5-29 to the Tigers 2-2-14. And we spoke about for the opening probably 10 minutes of that game, it was really controlled by the Pies. The Tigers were able to work their way back into the contest, but really it was quarter controlled by the visitors. And Luke, as we said, Coach Aaron Cornelius will be very, very pleased with the start, but they've got to continue on now in the second quarter. And
look at the body language of those Magpies when the siren went. Josh Arnold puffed his chest out. He was getting around as many players as he could. They're up and about, and so they should be. You know, they've got a nice 15-point buffer here. Obviously tough conditions, and we've got to play the second quarter and see how it's used by both sides. But they'll be feeling really good. And look at them all. They're all up strong, looking strong. I think that's a really good sign for the Maggies.
Yeah, they'd be very, very happy with their start here. So our score on a quarter time of the Twin Ovals on the Daily Patatico live stream is 4-5-29 to the Glenorchy to the Tigers 2-2-14. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with you for the second quarter in just a little bit. Hello and welcome back to TSL Round 12 action, brought to you on the Daily Potato Co live stream and the AFL Taz YouTube page. We have a upset potentially brewing down here at the Twin Ovals. It's the visitors, the Magpies, 4-5-29 play in front of the Tigers, 2-2-14. Goal kickers at the first break for the leaders, the Magpies. We've got Blake Waite, he kicked the opening goal of the game. He's joined on the score sheet by Will Brom, Riley Oakley and Matthew McGuinness, while for the Tigers, the two goal kickers there were Kieran Lovell, who kicked the first for the home side, and Tyler Carter kicked the next one. Let me just get the play back underway. Luke Edmonds. Was a pretty good start for the visitors, and you'd think Coach Aaron Cornelius would have said to his troops to stick with it, and if we take a lead into half-time, then we'll see what happens in the second half.
Absolutely. They've been absolutely wrapped, and they're starting quite well here. Blowfield just stuck himself under the footy there and has repelled the first foray, but there's a lot of pressure on, and there's Tompkinson. And you talked about that game in atrocious conditions against North Lonnie. I thought Tompkinson was great in that game, the biggest man out there, and the conditions didn't bother him. So, and particularly having the amount of time he spent in Queensland, he'd be questioning his life choices on a week like this. But he's playing, he's having an impact on this game as well. Yeah,
especially as you said, come down from the Brisbane Academy program up there. So I think he'd be not pleased with the conditions he's playing today. As we see the trees there in the background of the Twins Ovals, really the wind giving it to it there. And we're speaking to the boys calling the game down at Skybus at the break. They said the conditions down at Skybus are incredibly similar, if not worse. So conditions wherever you look today, either at Blunston, Skybus or the Twins, aren't great for footy, but we could have a few upsets brewing because North Hobart leading that clash down at Skybus 26-1. And at Blunston Arena, opening stages of the second quarter, and it's Clarence down by the 2 points, 15 plays 13. So potentially, round 12 could be full of upsets wherever you look on the Daily Potato Co live stream. As Geards tackled, could have been holding the ball. Umpire says no, so Adams not rewarded on that occasion. Footy comes back out now. On the bottom of that pack is Luke Graham.
And I think the closeness of the contests around the State League today shows the best place to be is on the couch watching the Daily Potato Company live feed, because he can choose all three, and we've got some great contests brewing here.
We do, and it's probably not a great day to be outside at the footy, as we know. Skybus sitting in the back of the car or at the front of the car, and the Twins really, you're out in the conditions, and Blunston Arena, if you can get a nice spot in the grandstand, you might be okay. As Geared and Adams a little bit behind play. Umpire didn't see it though, so play on. So as you said, Luke, perfect conditions to be nice, tucked in under a warm blanket. Heat pump or wood fire on the couch watching the Daily Potato Co live stream. As Lovell goes towards goal. He might kick his second of the day. He goes through from behind. So that's 2-3-15. The home side now, 4-5-29. The visitors, the visitors, yes.
That would be the thing that would be making me nervous if I'm Aaron Cornelius, is there are those classy players throughout this Kingborough team that can just have those moments like what Lovell almost pulled off there. When you've got a good spread of your team putting a lot of pressure, but if Lovell can just get loose and have a couple of moments of quality, it makes it really difficult to hang in the contest. But to their credit, they're still doing it. They're hanging in. They are,
as we said, they've got so many prime movers throughout the middle. Ed Cole, Lockie Clifford, the skipper, Kieran Lovell. George O'Neill is one that's not spoken about a lot, but he goes in there as a bit of a chop out for those guys. Riley Ashland floats through there also. Sam Dygan, you see the vice captain there, plays a half-forward midfield role. So plenty of movers throughout that middle part of the ground, and Tompkinson just throws Geared off that footy, or attempts to anyway. So we see the crowd there. Blankets on, beanies on, puffer jackets on. That's typical Tassie winter for you. As Cole tries to win that one out. One of the best tacklers in the comp is Eddie Cole. He's on the deck now, 6.3 a game he averages. Top 5 in the comp for that man. Obviously, his old man Anthony was a star North Hobart player back in the 80s and the 90s. Brother Will plying his trade still at the Demons. Eddie Cole forging his own path down to the Tigers after returning to Tassie, I believe, from Queensland 2 years ago. It's his second year in the Tigers jumper for Ed Cole, and he's had 2 really good years. Really good year last year and a really good start to this year. So Eddie Cole really forging a path of his own down in the yellow and black at the Twin Ovals. It's Tompkinson gets his kick away. It's smothered off the boot though by a few Magpies as we get a whistle blown. Might be in the back to Eddie Cole, it is. So he gets a handball away to the skipper in Clifford. He kicks inside, it's all Magpies. One of them's Waite. He gets an up and under ball, looking for Thompson. Mark almost taken by Will Brom. Floated out his way. It's Clifford. Nice little tap inside to Adams. Kick forward now. Looks for a teammate in Salter. He's got his hands on the footy now, but he's immediately tackled by Camrick and Arnold. So you see the little tap on the back there. Bit of wrestling style there, the old tap out from Connor Salter. Had the headlock on him. Umpire didn't see it. Play on. Ball up now. Kick away, Jenkins leads to the footy. So do the Tigers here. They get first possession. Kick inside. That one's going to go out of the full. So again, we've seen a lot of balls go inside 50 out on the full, Luke.
That is the pocket of death down there. I wouldn't want to be kicking it from 2 metres out down there. Nothing seems to be working. The ball's...
It's about the fourth or the fifth one that's gone out of bounds there. Adams brings it back inside. Kicks forward to Lane and Gardner. Lane's got the Sydney, takes a good mark, the big man.
And that's a better entry from
Zach Adams.
Zach Adams, sorry. He's been really composed a few times, Adams. I like that he didn't go to that dead pocket. He tried to, within the conditions, he tried to square it up as much as he could. And we've got Big Lane here now, who we talked about earlier. So he's a big man in these conditions. If he can impose himself, it's going to take his side a long way.
He's really built into the season well, Jordan Lane. He had a slow start, and he's really the last probably 4 or 5 weeks really built in. And he's a player I think's built for finals footy. We know he won a flag with Signet in the SFL last year, and I believe if the Tigers are able to get all the way to the last day in September, he could cause some headaches. As Jordan Lane, he hasn't on that occasion, and went through from behind. So I think a number of weeks ago, I believe Luke, down at the Twin Ovals, he kicked 0-5, I believe. I'm not sure. From the top of my head, I can't remember the side they were playing that day. The Tigers ended up with a win, and then the week later at North Hobart Oval, he ended up with 5-zip. So he knows how to find the sticks at either end as Jordan Lane, but he's definitely today, it's his first score of the day. It's a behind, so I hope he's able to turn that around and not end with 0-5 as he did his last game he played down at the Twin Ovals. Mark not taken by Graham. Little push out there by Matty Joseph. And he's got the advantage there of the boundary line, so we'll get a boundary throw in.
They're lucky to survive that there, but Byfield did pretty well with 3 Tigers around there to not concede the mark.
He did. So Carter, we see him do that most weeks, Tyler Carter, and he's done it exceptionally well on that occasion. That's his second of the day. So 3-4-20 now, the home side, the Tigers. 3-4-22, I should say, to 4-5-29 Glenorchy as we tick into the 7-minute mark of the second quarter. And you see it a lot. You cover a lot of games, Luke, for the Mercury, and you see Tyler Carter most weeks. He does the ruck taps inside 50, and if he can get away and get a quick kick out, he usually ends up with a goal. And we saw in the first quarter he wasn't able to do it.
Well, that's it.
That occasion he did.
They were awake to it in the first quarter, so Aaron Cornelius won't be wrapped about that because they obviously know that he does it, and they had strategies in place to try and blunt that, and then he's got away with it there. And that's when you've got someone like that who you know is always going to do it. You have to do it twice in a game, and you could concede 2 goals.
And it hurts you at the end of the day, especially when you know you can stop it as they did in the first quarter. So that'll be one to keep our eye on as Benny Camrick's awarded with a free kick against Kieran Lovell. So 2 of the ball magnets of the competition going head-to-head today. Camrick gives off to the skipper in Arnold. He's got a paddock to run into in the centre of Twin Ovals. Kicks forward now, looks for Roberts. He can't take the mark. Joseph's there also. Simpson for the Magpies, but Magpie on the bottom of that ball, I believe, Isaac Manson. Joseph comes in to assist. We'll get a ball up. So 9 minutes almost gone now in the second quarter. And Magpies yet to score after they kick 4 goals in the first quarter, which was a really good start, especially considering they kicked 5 in the first last week. So they've had 2 really good opening quarters in successive weeks. Camrick applies a strong tackle on a Tigers player in Adams. He's another one that's had a lot of the footy early in this game. McGuinness against Tomkinson. Tomkinson wins that one down. Goes to Adams, who's collected with a tackle, and that's a good holding the ball against him. I believe it was Luke Nicholson on that occasion. So good play here from the Magpies, and spoke about that pressure in the first quarter, and it's the first real sign we've seen it here in the second. Not his best off the boot there, Manson, but it's worked out well. It's got to Brom. Might have been taken without it or holding the ball. Which way is the umpire going to go with this? I think it's going to be holding the ball. It is. So again, we see a good bit of, I guess, pressure, and then the poor entry inside 50 really cost them on that occasion.
Geez, the push and shoves are going up a notch here too. There's a bit of fire in the belly, and where it might see an ill-disciplined free kick or 50 soon. I reckon the way this is going.
The Magpies would fancy themselves, especially considering the start they had, Luke. So potentially that's what Coach Aaron Cornelius has said, is to come out hot and heavy, and when you've got a chance to collect the ball carrier with a strong tackle, is to just get them hard and let them know next time that you're around. Footy back out now. Gear just tunnels that footy out. Goes to Cole though. Rom's on top of him.
And yeah, if your team's been given a rocket, and sometimes if the play's not up to it, you can always. And there we have the push and shove in the background again here. That's one way to get a bit of fire out of people. It's just a bit of push and shove.
Yeah, spot on.
You got to be careful because it's not always constructive.
No, the umpires can be pretty onto it, can't they? So kick out now. Clifford gives off to Lane. He just gives an up and under barrel. Carter's there. It's going to go bounce to him. Goes over his head, in fact, to Salter and Arnold. Sorry, that was Thompson. Gives off to Arnold and Joseph. They have to fight for the footy between themselves. Cole kicks away now to Manson. He can't take clean possession. Carter can. No, he can't. Gets a second going. Why don't we take it high? We'll get a ball up.
The intensity's definitely ratcheted up even further from the first quarter. Carter's slow to get up because he did sort of lose his feet. Oh, they have now paid a high.
Yep. Yeah, I think it might have been Joseph at the end of that. Got him high when he was on the ground. So, free kick paid. Whistle blown again. So Arnold will get the free against Salter.
I'm really liking the way Arnold's going about it. We talked about his body language at quarter time. Obviously, that's not a stat, but he's holding it together for them.
So it might have been the free kick the other way to the Magpies through Cooper Meredith. But Arnold eventually gets a possession there. He's best off the boot. Get a boundary throw in. That side of the ground's really been the dead zone. We call it the dead pocket, but it's really been that dead part of the ground there where the umpire is, because the footy's gone out of bounds. Majority of the time it's been there.
Nothing good has happened to anyone there. No. It's sort of like after 2 a.m. in a night spot. Nothing good happens after 2 o'clock. Nothing good happens in that pocket today.
It does not. The weather's a pretty big role to do with that one, as Ashland gets his kick away. It's up and under to Lovell. Reardon's there too. So is Brown for the Magpies. Camrick also tries to give to a teammate, but Graham cuts that one off. Is that going to go out of bounds on the full? So Magpies, another free kick in the back 50.
Can they use this opportunity to take a breath, break this grid that the Kingborough has set up, and try and get a bit of time up in there for 50? Because even if they're not going to score, at least they're killing some of the clock with the worst of the conditions. That's
good
great mark.
That is a great mark. It's a Blake Waite. So another man, as I said, he's had a really good year coming over from Old Scholars footy. He's really stamped his authority at TSL level. He's a player that definitely belongs in this competition. Another one there is Lovell. He's going to kick back to Waite, but it goes over his head and Arnold's. And Salters was a teammate he was looking for. Graham's handball smothered. Arnold again, just on the bottom of every pack. Josh Arnold every week for the Magpies. Skipper always leading from the front. He's one that Coach Aaron Cornelius knows going to give him 110% effort week in and week out. I believe not too far, if not already, not too far off life membership with the Glenorchy Footy Club is Josh Arnold. See, premiership player. Played a lot of senior footy. Good mark taken there for the Magpies in defence. To Blowfield. Arnold, one of the unheralded stars of the TSL competition, Josh Arnold. Blowfield comes out now. Again, that dead pocket, you called it again, Luke. I'm not sure why. You'd think as a player now you'd understand that pocket isn't one to kick to, especially out of defence, and you want to go to the other side of the ground. Footy back inside now. Camrick's there. Mark not taken. They're going to have to clear this quick, the Magpies, because the Tigers have plenty of numbers around this footy. One of them's Graham. His kick's just taken off the boot. Umpire didn't call ball when it probably should have been. Cole gets a handball away. Might have been high. Play on, says the umpire. Diagon's on the bottom of that pack. You see the wind really starting to pick up here at the Twins. Jumpers flying everywhere. You can hear they're in the back of the camera. So 3-4, plays 4-5. 14 minutes gone here in the second quarter. We'll get your score update around the grounds in a little bit. Ashland good tackle. Might have been dangerous in the end. Umpire says yes, so we know they're not a big fan of that. When you've got them and you've got the opportunity to stop and prop and wait for the whistle to throw them down on the ground, we know the umpires don't like to see that.
It's just really low-hanging fruit for the decisions. It's like, I see it, I have to pay it. Yeah, and so to give one up in the forward 50s,
coach killer, isn't it?
He wouldn't be happy.
So Ashland will be the man with the footy now. So McGuinness was the one that gave away the free kick. So Ashland, he really didn't even look for goal on that occasion. That's because he found Jordan Lane, and he took a terrific grab there, Jordan Lane, as he looks back at the two Glenorchy defenders just to let them know that when that ball comes inside 50, I'm going to fly, boys. Get out of my way, because I am really having a strong start, strong opening 12 rounds of this TSL 2022 season. Jordan Lane.
That facial expression said it all about where his mindset's at. He's like, I'm bigger, I'm stronger.
He's a player playing with a bucket load of confidence, Jordan Lane. And when you're averaging 7.5 marks and 2.4 goals a game in season 2022, there's no reason why you're not confident. As Jordan Lane puts that through the big sticks and he lets the Pies know about it. That's his first of the day. And he gets it back to a 1-point ball game of the Twins.
Such a powerful finish off the back of a powerful mark. They desperately needed that goal with some sort of botched forward 50 entries to just pluck one, and a clever kick too, the way it was checked in these conditions to sort of know, well, we've got bigger blokes than the Magpies. I'll just check this, put it to the hot spot. We've seen a lot of bombs just get punched over the line or dribble out or even go out on the full. So to just check that and give Lane a chance, and he used it, I think that's a good strategy for him going forward. Yeah, really smart by Riley Ashland on that occasion. McGuinness, it's a footy, but we'll get a free kick to Eddie Cole. There's Cole again underneath. He's I love watching him play. He's so intense. You'd love having him on your team. Yeah, he's that real up and under type player. He's Eddie Cole. Gets a lot of the footy, but he also is terrific on the defensive end, Eddie Cole. He's one of those midfielders that definitely runs both ways. You see a lot that don't, but Eddie Cole isn't one of those. He knows how to find the footy, but he knows that when his team needs him in defence, he's there. So we get a ball up inside. You talk about George O'Neill and the role he plays, just copped a footy right in the face, and it didn't even seem to flinch him. He's straight back up. The day's definitely not a day you'd want the Falcon, Luke, that's for sure. As footy comes back out now, Rees couldn't trap it. Blake Waite could for the Magpies. He kicks forward, but Rees has got the footy again, gives to Cole. Cole with a big turn around the body, up and under barrel. Geard's got the sit, so does O'Neill, the man that got the Falcon just a second ago. Good mark taken there overhead by Godomski. He kicks forward to Gardner, I should say. Gardner stops and props. He's going to look for an option. He's got one on short. Clifford couldn't take the mark. Stuck out the mid. Couldn't take it with one. Applies a tackle now on Brown. Get a ball up. So around the ground, score updates for you. We've got a 10-point ball game down at the Skybus. 2-4-16. Lauderdale plays 3-8-26. Demons over at Plunston Arena. Lonnie have taken a little bit of a commanding lead there, 5-5-35 to 2-5-17 Clarence. So there is a little bit of work to do. 3 goals down midway through the second quarter. In this game, we've got 1-point ball game at the Twins. So this is the closest game you've got on the Daily Potato live stream. So stick with us here down to the Twins, because we should be in for a cracker of a second half. As Oakley gets a free kick for high, had his head over the ball, so well rewarded on that occasion. Rees tracks that one back. Smart little tip over the top to Donnelly. Kicked 4 goals the last time these sides played. Can't imagine he'll go back in the forward line today, given the intensity of this clash early. Oakley gives off to a teammate. His handball smothered. 2 tackles applied to him. Can the Magpies get one here late? Tip-top defence from the Tigers, though. It's gone forward now. What can they do here? Good tackle applied, though. That's a strong one. I think that man might have been Eddie Golding. No, Zach Adams again. So he's been everywhere today, Zach Adams. Collected a lot of the footy. He's applying his trade well in defence with a strong tackle. So almost 19 minutes gone now as Tompkinson wins that footy down to Lovell. He kicks away. Up and under. It's going to go straight down the throat of Blowfield. And he's one, Luke, you spoke about pre-game. We don't think he's been in for a number of weeks, and good to see him back out there today is Nathan Blowfield. And he's, don't put them off, he's a good user of the footy, and he's good overhead for a guy his size. He's taken a couple of really strong marks today. Yeah, really. He's turned it over there. Came into his own
last year under Paul Kennedy, Nathan Blowfield, who's one that PK instilled a lot of trust in defence, and he held his spot for the majority of season 2021, and much the same under the new coach, Aaron Cornelius.
Because he does the stuff that catches the eye and probably gets him in the votes a bit, but if you really focus on him, he's not afraid to literally roll his sleeves up today and get his head over the ball. And, he's a really brave player. I like the way he's got a lot of potential going forward. Yeah,
spot on. I think he's a Glenorchy junior too, so good to see him ply his trade through the junior ranks at Glenorchy and then come through as Camrick applies a strong tackle on Eddie Cole. To be rewarded there, Benny Camrick. Holding the ball. He averages 6 tackles a game this year, Benny Camrick. So on that occasion, he was against one of the other good tacklers in the comp, Eddie Cole, and he let him know about it. A strong tackle, rewarded for holding the ball. Good tackle there. So this game is pretty physical, and it's easy to see why. So we've got a 1-point ball game. Whistle's been blown.
I think it was for the different angle of the a bit like the tackle we saw. Yeah, the dump. And I guess like a lot of things, when one's paid, it becomes a bit front of mind. You can't help yourself to see it more obviously. Here's a chance for Glenorchy. If they can get a deep entry and pinch one here,
they might be able to sneak a late one, you'd think. Footy goes up now. McGuinness flies over the back. Can't take the mark. Digan's there. They've got the numbers here, Waite and Dilger. They come to help now to the Tigers in Adams. He kicks up and under. They've been able to set up well here through Blowfield. So he's got time and space. Arnold's got to apply a shepherd here, but he's got time. Not a great kick, though, from Blowfield. Dilger, he's got a 2 to beat here. Arnold's got to come and help. He does, but kick away now from Digan. Lane goes over through his hands over his head. Works well here, the Tigers. It's number 44, Liam Roach. Comes back out to Blowfield. Not his best off the boot. That's his 3rd turnover in a row, Nathan Blowfield. So he's going to have to tidy up the disposal. Camrick gives back to Brown. Let's get a kick here away soon. They work it well now through Manson. Up and under, looking for Jenkins, but he's got to talk to him in a beat. He did pretty well there. Digan was out the back, gives to Rees. Rees now kicks across the ground. Whistle's been blown. Might be downfield. So we see Digan down behind play there. So Lovell's got the footy now. Up and under. Where's Lane? Can the big man fly? Can't take the mark. Good spoil by Brown. Well played there on that occasion. A rush out through for a behind was Manson.
I think with the way they're going to target Lane like they're at the hot spot there, I think it's the right play to throw bodies at him, even if it is 3 blokes. I mean, you saw what he did against 2. If takes that extra man, do it.
No, spot on. He's one that really attracts a lot of attention inside 50, and if that's the case, you'd think another guy potentially to get off the leash up forward, another talk team, it could be a Connor Salter or a Jack Tonkinson, especially to Magpies going to go 2 to 3 against. That's a pretty good shot at goal. That might have been over. I think it is. The umpire, I think she's going to call this a goal. She looks pretty stern in her conviction. I think that was George O'Neill. I think it was over, it was. So we'll get a goal. So it was Julian Parker, I should say, with the goal on that occasion. And for the first time in this game, the Tigers are up. 5-5-35, 4-5-29.
Nathan Blowfield looked pretty convinced that he'd taken that, but I mean, I guess the umpire's in the best position,
I think
with the ball swirling around like that, you lose your bearings a bit. You might be over when you don't think you are.
No, I'm with the umpire on that occasion. Look, I think that one was over. I think he just taken it over the line. Probably would have been potentially a millimetre, 2 millimetres maximum. He was pretty close, but on that occasion, I think he was beaten by the goal line. So Julian Parker kicks his first goal of the day. For the first time, as I said in this contest, the Tigers are up by 7 points. So they've been able to respond strongly here in the second quarter. They've kicked 3 goals to 0, which is in favour of the Tigers. So Trent Bull would have asked for a response from his side. And they're a pretty mature outfit. They're sitting second on the ladder. We know they would have definitely given one, and they've done exactly that. As Tompkinson doesn't like the attention he's given from John Geard on the bottom of that pack. He comes out now for the ruck tappers. Him and Geard just exchange some pleasantries. Geard gives him one after the fact there. So we'll keep our eye on that battle. As Arnold, I should say, goes against Clifford. Good work there by Clifford. He tracks that footy forward. But only goes as far as an opposing Magpie, and that was Geard who kicks out wide. Rees and Jenkins fight for this footy. Jenkins triples it over to the boundary line. So we see the wind really starting to play havoc with this game here. Trees in the background there at the Twin Ovals blowing a gale. So 7 points is the margin. Sorry, 6 points. 5-5-35, 4-5-29. 6 points is our margin here at the Twins. So a single goal will bring Glenorchy back level. They haven't kicked one so far in this game. Wait, that's 50. Just silly by Lane. Blake Waite probably gave it to him.
Bit of a push, and then with the breeze blowing, probably took the extra bit off him. I think the free kicks there.
It was definitely there. It was not much in it, but you can't, especially once a mark's been taken, you can't give a little bit after. So he'll discipline on that occasion by Jordan Lane. That's the third 50 of the day for the Tigers, so we'll keep our eye on that one. Definitely not what Trent Buller would want. Kick forward now for the Tigers. There's Lane. Can't take the mark on that occasion. Kick back up the line now. It's all Tigers. One of them's Rees. So good to see him get his hands on the footy early parts of this game. As we said, first game, I want to say in 12 months, but it could be shorter than that. He's had a lot of injuries to deal with, potentially in the pre-season. And Coach Trent Buller was all wraps for him in the presses on Thursday. Was really excited to see him back out in the senior lineup. He's a strong member of the back six, and he had a really strong season 2021. So good to see him back in the Tigers jumper out there plying his trade. As the Pies now just slow this footy down as we've kicked in deep into time on here in the second quarter. Not his best off the boot on that occasion. Clifford just throws Jenkins off the footy. Rees gives a handball out to Donnelly, who goes back to Godomski. Godomski now with a high up and under footy. Waite's got the sit, can't take the mark. Brown's there, looks to apply a Shepherd. And that'll be all she wrote for the first half here at the Twin Ovals, as we get a bit afters there.
It's Tompkinson and Geard again. Geard's gone down.
Geard's gone down, so we'll keep our eye on that. Tompkinson and Geard, we saw them a few minutes ago, Luke, into it in the centre of the ground, but I think that one's going to die down pretty quick. Geard's still down behind play. Tompkinson's drifted away from that clash, so we shouldn't see too many afters here. So half time here at the Twin Ovals, and we have a ball game on our hands. 5-5-35 the home side. They've kicked away in the second quarter to 4-5-29 the visitors. So Glenorchy, after what was a promising first quarter, Luke, weren't able to put any score on the board in the second quarter, which would be a worrying sign for Coach Aaron Cornelius. Yeah,
I think they really let themselves down with their disposal coming off half back in the wing going forward. We saw a few grubbers, a few high balls into the wind. They, a couple of times they did try and work it through with hands, which was a bit more effective. I think they probably let the Tigers off the hook a bit with some of their disposal coming out. And put their defenders under more pressure than they needed to. But I don't think I'd be definitely taking the glass half full approach that you're within a goal of the second team on the ladder, who's absolutely pumped you on Anzac Day weekend. That was an absolute first-class flogging. This is a tight, intense contest. The Maggies, their senior players are leading by example, and their young guys are seeing that, and they know that's the standard they need to achieve. And you know, a gritty, horrible conditions game can suit you when you can do that, and they've definitely brought it. And the big query now is they come out for the second half, are you going to bring it again? Because you go back into the rooms, it's a bit warmer, you've got to come back out into these horrible conditions. Do you still want it? Do you want pats on the back, or do you want to contend for the 4 points? And that's going to be the question they need to ask themselves.
Spot on. That'll be the message from Coach Aaron Cornelius at the half. We've got to really put our foot down. We're only a goal down. Can we carry on with this and really potentially cause the upset of the TSL season so far in season 2022? Goal kickers at the half before we take a short break for the Tigers. We've got 2 to Tyler Carter. He's the only major goal kicker on the ground. Singles to Zach Adams, Julian Parker, Riley Ashland, Jordan Lane and Kieran Lovell. While for the Magpies, singles to Blake Waite, Will Brom, Riley Oakley and Matthew McGuinness. So we have got a 6-point ball game here at the Twin Ovals on the Daily Potato Co live stream. We'll be back with you for the second half in just a little bit. Hello and welcome back to the Twin Ovals for this TSL Round 12 clash between the home side, the Tigers, and the visitors, the Magpies. Brought to you on the Daily Potato Co live stream. We have a ball game here at half time. 5-5-35 the Tigers. They lead this one by the 1 goal over the Magpies, 4-5-29. My name is Ryan Rosendale, joined in the commentary box by Luke Edmonds. And Luke, after what was a pretty promising start for the visitors, kicked 4 goals in the opening quarter. It was all the Tigers in the second.
It was, but we've got a template for this game as when North Lonnie played down at the Twins a few weeks ago, where it basically went like this, not as high scoring, I don't believe, but you know, out to a lead, consolidated, then out to a lead. But what happened in that game is that North Lonnie then went on with it in the last quarter into the crap conditions, because effectively the Tigers sort of broke. And so what do we see here? Who's going to break first, I suppose? But the pressure's on Glenorchy now to have a good quarter in what allegedly would be the better of the conditions, although we have seen the rain really start to come in, which is going to throw another spanner in the works, so she could be a bit more low scoring going forward. Yeah,
it looks like it's definitely come in at the half-time break.
Look at that ball.
Sitting here in the commentary box watching it drift, and then we saw the players come out after the break and they were a bit shell-shocked at the conditions. Had worsened in a space of about 20 minutes, but that's what we've got here at the Twins, and I believe the conditions down at Skybus Oval for the clash between the D's and the Bombers isn't much better. So it's one of those cold, gloomy Saturdays in Tassie, that's for sure. As Lovell wins this one out back through Gardner, and he kicks inside 50 now. It's an up and under. Wade's got the sit. Lane came in over the top, couldn't take the mark. Parker's got free rein of this footy here if he takes it, and a bounce for him, it doesn't. As Jenkins comes from the side. Joseph's there also. Sorry, that's Brom. Brom now. Well done by that young man, Will Brom. He was the only one that wanted the footy on that occasion. He came through well. Godomski did also. He's out to Salter. Salter now kicks inside to the skipper in Clifford. He's got geared for company. Kicks wide. Tries to find Eddie Cole, but Ben Camrick chops that one off. So, bit of a little contested start here early. No one really taking advantage either way, and if the Magpies can kick the first one of the third quarter, it'd really give them a bucket load of confidence heading into the later stages of this third quarter. Simpson tries to tunnel that footy out under the clutches of a Tigers player, but he can't on that occasion. We'll get a ball up. That was Parker on the bottom of that pack. So 3 goals, 3 to zip in the second quarter in favour of the Tigers. That one might be high. It is, so Clifford get the free against Ben Camrick. So the skipper kicks forward, might be downfield, it is. So on that occasion, Benny Camrick just a little bit untoward there. Free kick downfield goes the way of Jordan Lane.
And it was the ill discipline that actually favoured the Magpies in the first quarter, with a couple of acts from
Tigers players. I think it was, we tally up 3 50-metre penalties in the opening half. So that's definitely an area that Coach Trent Bullen would like to be tidied up throughout the second. As the Tigers obviously coming off a bye last week, so haven't played since that win against North Hobart 2 weeks ago. So just working their way back into this clash, and the Magpies came off a pretty strong performance despite not getting the win against the D's. They had their best showing for the season last week, that's for sure. 10 goals against the Demons. As it comes back out now to Camrick, who just wins that one out in front of Dygan. Thompson tries to trap that one and slide, but it didn't go through on that occasion. Reeves with the kick now up the line. Who's this way ball going to bounce? We know what the Sharon likes to do. It doesn't agree with you sometimes. On that occasion, it agrees with Dygan. He brings that one back inside. Lane's got the sit. Can't take the mark. Good pressure there from Manson. Dilger. That's Richard. Kicks out to Tonkinson. He expected the mark to be paid. Might have been a touch off the boot on that occasion, so we're going to ball up.
And we've seen, I don't know if this is a bit early to tell, but whether the message from the coaches is to use this wing a bit more for both their benefits. We've definitely seen a lot more play on this wing than
we have,
before half time.
So Lovell brings that one out now. He's had a lot of the footy so far in this game, Kieran Lovell. He knows how to find it. That's not the best on that occasion with Eddie Cole. Score update for you. I think we're in the third quarter of both of our other TSL Round 12 clashes today. Over at the Skybus Oval. It's a 3-point ball game, early stages of the third quarter. North Hobart 3-8-26. Lauderdale 2-11-23. Michael Blackburn and Josh McGuinness, the goal kickers for the Bombers, while Callan Daly, George McLeod and Jack Sandrick have kicked the 3 for the visitors in the Ds. As we get a push in the back call here for the Tigers. That'll go to Eddie Cole and over at Blunston. Get that one to you in a second as Lovell gets from Cole. He gets around a couple. Does Kieran Lovell. Gives a handball off to Carter. Good smother though by Roberts. Gives out to Adams as the rain's really coming down here now at the Twins. Lovell gets a kick away. Who can win this footy here? Dygan does. Out in front of Camrick, so gave his opponent a little bit too much room there, Benny Camrick, and the vice-captain will have his first shot on goal for the day.
Well worked in the end, considering the conditions there by the Tigers, I thought. Eddie Cole's chucked the long sleeves on at half-time. That tells you how the conditions are going, but he's in and under a lot of that. And
Dygan, slow approach from the vice-captain. That's not his best off the boot, although that's worked back pretty well. That looked terrible to start with, but it worked out well in the end for Sammy Dygan, and he puts the lead back now to 12 points for the home side. 6-5, 41 to 4-5, 29.
Like a guided missile from Dygan there. He launched it, and then the propeller took off and just guided it straight through the sticks. I'd love to see the Hawkeye of that if we had the technology, because it really just swooped in. And you saw the look on the goal umpire's face of surprise of, wow, look at what that's done. That's pretty cleverly worked, really. And I guess that's what you get when you train in the conditions at your home ground. It's called home ground advantage for a reason, that you know you hit it a certain way. It's like me with my golf swing, Ryan. You just aim it one way, compensating for the hook you're going to put on it.
Yeah, I'm not too good on the golf game myself, Luke, so count us both in for that fact. As Dygan, the man that just kicked the goal, gives off to Lovell. He's out of the mountain of footy early in the third quarter as Arnold chops that one off. So score update for you over at Blunston. 6-6-42. Plays 3-4, 3-8, I believe. I'll get a potential confirmation on that scoreline. 19, I should say. So 42 plays, 19 over at Blunston Arena. It's the visitors in Launceston with the lead there. So minus Joby Harper. The Blues have really kicked away at Blunston. Zach Adams is the man that's going to end up with a shot on goal after all of that. So Adams, who's been one of the better performers today for the Tigers, you'd say, kicks on goal. He's going to go to the top of the square. Mark not taken by Carter. Footy on the deck now. Who can win this ball clean? Little kick off the ground by Geared. A 21's advantage. And Graham's on the bottom of that pack. So we get another ball up deep inside 50 for the Tigers, so they can't afford the next one, the Magpies, the Tigers' way, as we get the camera a bit clean there, so you're able to watch along on the Daily Potato Co. live stream. So we know the conditions today are terrible, so the best seat in the house is the comfort of your own couch, the TV on, watching along, because you would not want to be down here at the Twin Ovals. The weather is doing a lot today. It's a good day to be indoors. For these players, they're out trying to win a game of footy. As Lane leads all comers to that footy, goes to Dygan. Smart kick there by the vice-captain to Lovell, and he's going to go to goal for his second of the day. And that one is mark taken by Josh Arnold, so didn't go through for a behind on that occasion. So the captain for the Glenorchy Magpies kicks out to the advantage of Brom, but cut off by Sorty. Might have been high there on Graham. He's down behind play. He caught one on the head as the bump came in from the side. Geared, kicks around the body. Tompkinson tries to cut that off. College is there, gives off back to Tompkinson. He gives off to Cole. Camrick's got him for company. Clifford, that's not his best off the boot either, the captain. Works out well though. Gardner might have been holding, he was against Arnold. So the skipper for the Pies will get another free kick in defensive 50. As we tick into the 9-minute mark.
They definitely are targeting this wing in this half. They are, the Maggies, and
we haven't seen
not to great effect at the moment. Yeah, we haven't seen the ball out on that on the wing of death that we had in the first quarter. So it'll be interesting to see how things would go over there. But they obviously want to push it out strength of this commentary side.
Yep, for sure, yeah.
Just can't break the lines at the moment.
No, they can't. The footy's really floated around that wing mark. It hasn't gone any further. Tomkinson wins that one down, excuse me. Goes to Arnold, who tracks that one over the boundary line. And, yeah, the ball really hasn't gone past that centre line at all in this opening, what are we, nearly 10 minutes in the third quarter. So the Pies, 2 goals down now. They really need the next one if they're going to be any chance here in the third quarter. They're a confidence team, the Magpies. We know a lot of young sides are, and we saw last week what that did for them. They were able to get within a few kicks of the Demons last week, and right now they haven't been leading this game. They've been within a few kicks of the Tigers all day, so they really would not want this margin to blow out here in the third quarter. Eddie Cole might be pinned here. The umpire calls it, so he waited and waited and waited. Gave Eddie Cole every opportunity to get rid of the footy. So Ben Camrick will be the man with a free kick now. He stops and looks for an option. He doesn't have much presenting again. Called it, look, they're going to use this wing again. He's got a flea play over the back. Good fly, though, from Zach Adams. Mark not taken. Comes out to Manson, who kicks forward now. Reardon tracks this one back. Mark not taken, though, by the high flyer. Short little ground grubber kick. Goes out to Adams. He gives off to Rees, and it could almost be deliberate, but he played that well, Brady Rees.
Just milked a little bit of pressure there on the line just to get it over. But this, yeah, you're right. This is about as far as the footy has gone, this halfway mark. So yeah, there's some Pies pushing forward as they ought to. If they want to win this, they need to keep this margin in touching distance. Another goal the other way would be disastrous.
It would be a big mountain to climb for the Magpies. Whistle blown. Get a ball up. So 2-goal margin here, 12 points. 11 minutes gone, third quarter. Around 12 TSL action. Get another ball up. The footy's really come out though. Guinness with a little tap out. Gardner, a lot of foot bodies around this ball. Who can get the first clean possession away? Could have been a tunnel there on Parker. Taking the legs out. Umpire said no. Carter just waited, and he caught one in the back there from Brown. Overzealous there, the big man. So Tyler Carter, kick 2 today. Short kick, good one, finds Jordan Lane.
There's that check little entry that they've used quite effectively to Lane, this time on the lead. He's going right back though. He's going to boot this right into the teeth of the conditions that we've got down here.
Yeah, you see the rain really coming down now.
The West Indian fast bowling run up coming off the Twin Ovals wing here for Lane, but fair enough, as we say, these guys training these conditions. They know if I'm in this spot, I need this much momentum to get it through in these sort of conditions.
Kick 1-1 today so far. Jordan Lane, can he put the ledger in his favour and put through his second? He can't. Is that one going to go? It's not. Clifford on the goal line. It's gone through from behind, so opportunity gone big in there for the home side.
Lane booted the suitcase out of that ball. It was flying and then it just stopped. That tells you everything you need to know about the conditions we've got here.
6-6, 42, 4-5, 29, 13-point lead now to the home side. Back inside there, forward 50. Brown just barrels that one out. Back 50. And really this is as far as it's gone, and it's going to stay there because College works it back forward for the Tigers. Kicks forward. Magpies fly against themselves, and it comes down in the end to the skipper and Clifford. Whitford head under the footy, not paid. We'll get another ball up, Brown on one of that pack.
13 minutes in, I think this is where you start getting a little bit nervous if you're the Pies. You're like, come on, fellas, we've got to get this one. We've got the breeze. It's okay. It's not a beautiful, gorgeous 4-goal breeze, but it's definitely should be pushing the ball in our direction.
Which is potentially where it's going to go now if Waite can get clean touch, but he can't. Comes out to a teammate there for the Tigers in Eddie Golding. Whistle's been blown. Clifford was about to run away with that footy. Free kick though to Nathan Blowfield. So a player we spoke about in the pre-game and during the first half. And that's come back from injury. Goes to another one that's almost come back from injury, and Rees is opposing player as Donnelly works that one inside play. beat the boundary line. Clifford gives off to Rees again. He goes around the body, inside 50. Graham. A bit of pressure, though, from the defender in Roberts. And Brown takes that one over.
How about that kick from Donnelly? And tells you everything you need to know about the slipperiness, the wind, the rain. That clean bowled about 5 players as it went through. No one could get a mitt on it. The unpredictability of the conditions is really is what's making this such a low-scoring contest.
Yep. Yeah. What are we? 10 goals between these two sides. So I think the Tigers average about 13 or 14 goals a game so far this year. So well below their average in front of the big sticks. And last time these teams played, look, we both were at that game. They kicked a very high score of 131, 19 goals, 17. So, but that was a nice, decent day in terms of the weather on Anzac round. So the weather today has really played with the goal kicking of both sides. Although 6 goals, 6 behinds and 5 behinds for each side is definitely better than what we're getting down at the Skybus Oval, because Lauderdale have kicked 2 goals 11 down there. So both sides not going too bad in front of the big sticks when they can actually get it inside 50. But again, this is as further as it's been so far in this game for the Magpies. If they can get a clean possession out of this centre, this throw in here, it might be a sniff. They might get it now through number 13 in Nicholson. He kicks forward. Good mark taken. That's Tom McCann. Could be 50 here. Umpire says no.
Elijah Ridden living dangerously there in these conditions, and we've seen some 50s paid. But here we go. Here's a set shot for the Pies to get it back to within the 7 points.
7-point margin it will be if Tom McCann can put this one straight over the goal umpire's head. This would be their first goal since the late stages of the first quarter. If you can kick this, obviously didn't trouble the goal umpire at all in the second quarter. So this is a must kick goal now for the visitors, and that one's gone through from behind. So not what they needed on that occasion. The Magpies takes it back to a 12-point game. Kick out now from Adams. Looks for Lane. Can't take the mark against Blowfield. He follows that ball out of bounds. So
now the test is, we talk about the intensity's got to stay the same. As we've got to. We saw in the first quarter that they just locked these situations down and got another 450 entry. They've got to do it again.
Yep. That would be the message now from the runner out to the boys, is to stop the grey off by Ashland, is to lock this footy and our forward half of the ground and really put some pressure on the home side, because it's back to 12 points. So if they can get one and really send a fright up the Tigers and go in just a goal down as we approach time on here in the third quarter. Not many goals kicked in this third quarter, so there won't be too long left after we hit that 20-minute mark. They need one late here, the Pies, just to give themselves a sniff. Down by 6 at the long break, down by 12 now. Just a 1 goal kicked in this quarter. Footy back up now. Gardner wins that one down. Ball goes forward now, just on the paint of 50. Hasn't gone inside yet as Blowfield gets that. So does Arnold. It's inside now through Clifford. Eddie Cole on the bottom of that pack. Might have been in the back. Brown's definitely on his back now. Umpire hasn't called it. That one's just taken out of the pack there through George O'Neill. There's a free kick being paid, I think, to that man in O'Neill. Eddie Cole tried to run on with it. So George O'Neill, a man spoken about a lot from Coach Trent Bulmer in the presser on Thursday. He's averaged 11.3 disposals a game and 4.5 tackles. So he's one of those players, Luke, that runs the chop out option in the centre of the ground. He does a really good job, George O'Neill.
And between him and Eddie Cole, they're across half forward in this quarter. They're doing exactly what we sort of wanted to see from the Magpies. They just lock it in, create another contest, see what you get. And here's the opportunity for George now. This
is the opportunity they need, the Tigers. So George O'Neill, he won't trouble the goal umpire there. He didn't make the full requirement to kick the goal. It's Camrick. Brings this one back out now. That's a long bomb outside 50. That's what they wanted, the Pies. If they can get the bounce here, they're away. Comes out to McCann. He can't get a clean bounce. O'Neill again. Terrific work from him. Blowfield tries to rip that one out from under his hands, but he's got no chance. George O'Neill says that's my footy. So we'll get another ball up here as we tick into the 19-minute mark. So just 1 minute to go before we hit time on. As I said, just a 1-goal kick, so there won't be too long left in this third quarter. 12-point ball game as you hear the rain coming down now at the Twins as the umpire was about to, I believe, call holding the ball, but it eventually came out of the hands of Lockie Clifford. Calls for ball there, play on. Gardner against Thompson. The tackle pressure at the minute, Luke, is really gone up a notch as we see a bit of push and shove there.
It certainly has, and it's been pretty high all game, and you're seeing that extra push and shove and the bodies going in. There's some pretty tired players there already, and Kingborough coming off the bye doesn't always refresh you for this sort of contest.
No,
so
especially in the weather too, especially against a side that played really good footy last week against the Demons. They would have come into this game with a bucket load of confidence, the Magpies.
And this is what you want to see as the game in the balance.
Yep.
You know, a goal either way here shifts the narrative a lot. Which I was thinking about the last time they played where Donnelly got thrown forward for 4 goals.
Yep.
I mean, if you could pinch a goal through some kind of tactic like that, you've put the game to bed almost.
You have, yeah.
So.
And it's one that Coach Trent Bulmer knows he can throw the magnet of Donnelly forward, and potentially even a guy like Elijah Reardon could go to a half-forward flank and create a bit of drive on the half-forward flank. So
100%. I think that's Kingborough's. That's what will hold him in good stead throughout the coming months and into September. Is that they've got so much flexibility in some of their craftier players, and they do damage when they throw the magnets around.
They do.
Now, do you want to do that? You know, in round 12 when you're still winning by 12 points? Maybe not, but you want to keep it up your sleeve. But it's certainly an option they've got to try to potentially put this game to bed. But I guess they're happy with the way their defence is standing up when it is challenged at the moment. So if it ain't broke,
don't fix it. No, they're definitely one of the better defensive units in the comp, and with the addition of Brady Reeves back into that defensive back six today, they become even stronger. So 21 minutes gone now in the third quarter. Give you a score update at the three-quarter time break from around the grounds. But right now at the Twins, it's geared kick away towards Waite. Reardon comes through with a strong bump against the Magpies opponent, and that works well for his side because it's come out up to the wing. Graham with a smart handball over the top to O'Neill. Kick off the ground back up to Lovell, I should say. Kick forward, looks for Lane, can't get to him. Brown's got first hit of this footy. Gives a handball off to Josh Arnold. He's just got to stop and proper look for an option. He finds one in Thompson. Mark not taken. Brom's there for support. Good tackle by him. Whistle's been blown by the umpire. What's he going to do here? Might have been afters. Lane should take the mark. He does. So potentially the advantage there. A risky one, because if that kick had gone not to where they wanted, it would have been potentially coming straight back out. But when you've got a guy like Jordan Lane, we know what strong mids he has, Luke. It's always good to take the advantage, because if he's on, he's on.
And that's it. He's just as big now as he was when they blew the whistle to start the game. And he's got the jukes. He's taken it. And he's probably learned from that last set shot. They were a bit closer in here. He's just got to hit it just as hard, because the wind will get it. But if he can get it past the sticks before it turns it around.
He could kick his second of the day. He's kicked 1 goal, 2, I believe, so far today, Jordan Lane. So to even that legend up, he hasn't on that occasion. So that's 1-3 now for the big man. So 6-7. 43 for the Kingborough Tigers now, 4-6-30 the Magpies. So 13 points is the margin here. Jenkins flew, couldn't take the mark. What do we got now? Can the Magpies repel here? They can. Camrick's in front of this footy, does well. He's got a teammate out there, that's a good option. It's that man number 13 in Nicholson. Jenkins is there, can he get clean possession? So is Camrick. That's a man that knows how to find the footy. Joseph can't. He finds a boundary line. So I think it's a second inside 50 for the quarter for the Magpies, and they can get one late here, Luke, and get that margin back to 7 and really shake things up come the three-quarter time siren.
Yep, there's a few blokes taking some pretty deep breaths out there, Ryan, but nothing the goal wouldn't fix.
So can they get one here, the Magpies? They need one. They haven't kicked one since the opening stages the late stages of the first quarter. Camrick gets a handball from Geared. Tries to give it off to a teammate in Jenkins. Geared with the footy now off the ground. That's good from him. Would have been better there if there was a Magpies player. Oakley was trailing Reeves to the footy. Boundary line beat both of those gentlemen. So we'll get another boundary throw in. 13 points is our margin here late, as we see the rain really coming down there. The posts blowing a gale. Perfect conditions for ducks, not so much for footballers. But that's where you get in Tassie in the winter, especially if you're a footballer. You know, you come the middle part of June, Luke, early stages of July and into August, this is the conditions you're going to play in. You prepare for it all year, but until you actually play in these conditions, you can't really know what to expect. As the siren goes for three-quarter time, and 6-7-43 plays 4-6-30 is our scoreline. So 13-point lead heading into the last change for the Tigers, and the Magpies will give themselves a little bit of a sniff here coming into the last quarter, and you'd think the rev up from Coach Aaron Cornelius at the last break would be huge.
You'd be saying, let's leave nothing out there, guys. This is as close as we've been at the three-quarter time all season. We're in touching distance of a really quality side here. And again, you can reference back to if they break first, we're right in the contest. For a team that hasn't kicked a goal since quarter time, they're still up to their necks in this, and I'd be pretty glass half full if I was Aaron Cornelius. His opposing coach, Trent Ballmer, I think he'll be pretty calm about that as well. I think they were very methodical, as methodical as you can be in these sort of conditions. They held their nerve. They don't look panicked at all. They didn't hit the scoreboard as much as they would have liked, but they didn't concede either. I think he'd be pretty happy when he's talking to his boys, and he'd be saying, look, fellas, we've just got to now replicate that again for one more quarter, and we take back the 4 points. And that warm shower after these conditions will feel a lot better. You've got a couple of extra days of the weekend to put 4 points in your back pocket. So I think both coaches have got positive messages they can give to their side, but then they've just got to deliver it. And as we say, the weather is closing in here. It's disgusting. But it's going to feel pretty good if they can walk away with a W.
So 13 points is our margin here at the last break. It's the Tigers with the lead at the Twins, and we'll take a short break, bring you the last quarter action in just a little bit. Hello and welcome back to the Twin Ovals on the Daily Potato Co live stream for this TSL round 12 clash between the Tigers and the Magpies. And we have a 13-point ball game here at three-quarter time as we get ready for the fourth quarter action to begin. And Luke Edmonds, we were in for a bumper over the last quarter here at the Twins in pretty terrible conditions, it has to be said.
It looks as bad as it's been all day out there, Ryan, but definitely in the balance here. Really excited for how this quarter's going to go.
Yep.
There's a lot of players, umpires and supporters ducking in this rain, though. It's smashing them in the face.
It is. The rain looks absolutely terrible. We've got the benefit of being inside the warm commentary box at the Twins, but if you're outside there, you'll be definitely looking forward to a nice hot warm shower in about 25 minutes time. But for both sides, before you do that, you want to walk away with a win because we've got a 13-point ball game here, and the Magpies could be on the verge of causing one of the upsets of the TSL season. Almost did it last week against the Demons, but 2 weeks and 2 pretty strong performances in a row will be very pleasing for Coach Aaron Cornelius. But we know footy is a game about W's and L's, and he's a man that will want to walk away with a win today, especially when his side's so close. And this won't be good because Tyler Carter got his foot on that, his boot on that football, I should say. So I finally get my words out of my mouth, Luke. And he has 3, and that extends the margin out to 19 points for the home side.
Yeah, and just it shows the danger of the deep entry in these conditions now, doesn't it, with the breeze. And just a little slip. And Carter, he's good around his feet. You know, I've watched him for a couple of years now. He's sort of, when it's down there, he's pretty crafty. And that's what you want out of your full forwards like this. It's any way I can get it. It doesn't say how, it just says how much. And 3 goals now well, that's the margin, essentially, 19 points.
Been the difference. He's been quiet, probably one of his quieter day, but when you can kick 3 goals on a quiet day, you know you're doing something right. So Tyler Carter, he's the only major goal scorer on the ground. Kicked 3. Every other player on the ground's kicked a single major. So he has been the difference so far today as Clifford gets that one against holding the ball. So John Geard will be the man who will get the footy inside the centre square. Gives a handball off to a teammate in Thompson, who drives inside 50. It's a high one. Plenty of Tigers underneath it. They get it out through Cole, who gives off to Reardon. He takes a bounce. That's a risky option, but it paid off well there for Reardon. And he's barreled that forward. Man with the footy was Roach. He couldn't take the mark. He's got a lot of pressure now against him, Liam Roach. He does well there. Tried to give off to Brown, whose handball went up to Arnold. Arnold with a handball across his body now to Roberts. 2 experienced heads there. That's not his best off the boot. O'Neill cut that off, and he followed the footy all the way to the boundary. So ball in now in what's been dubbed the dead pocket today. 19 points is our margin. Early stages of the fourth quarter. So for the Magpies, who haven't kicked a goal since the opening stages of, the late stages, I need to say, of the first quarter. They need one now if they're going to be any chance to walk away with the upset win here. They're 19 points down, so they need 4 to win. They need to start with 1 here very, very soon. As Geard will look to do that. Kicks up the wing. Goes wider. Looked for Waite, who couldn't take the mark. He's been one of the better performers today is Blake Waite, as he has been all year for the Magpies. Godomski gives off to the captain in Clifford. Clifford around his body went one way, then went the other. Up and under ball to Dygan. He can't take the mark. Lovell's there. So is Nicholson for the Magpies, who gives off to Camrick. Disco gets a handball away now. Gives to Simpson, who gives back to Camrick. He gives a handball back again to Blake Waite. Good work up, link up play here for the Magpies, but it's come unstuck there. And Reardon gets the footy. So 2 or 3 nice little link up plays. It's all become unstuck. As Elijah Reardon sits in the hole. We're going to Magpie down behind play. We'll keep our eye on that. Handball over the top from Adams to Graham. Graham with a short kick in. Looks for Lane. Will cut off by Thompson. It comes back to Graham. Lane's called for it again. He can't take it on that application. Good work there. Double up work there by Thompson. He does well. Mark not taken by the Tigers. And the Magpies look to get inside 50 here through Roberts. He kicks forward now. Donnelly with the sit. He can't get the footy. Brom's there for the Magpies. Salter also. His players look to get a clean possession forward. Geard Just falls on the bottom of that footy. And finally, we'll get a ball up. We'll look for the Magpies, Luke. This is their best chance they've had for probably early stages of the third quarter. They get something inside 50 and get something on the board.
Yeah, and they're getting their good players, well, their best players around the footy here.
One of them's Camrick. He can't get clean possession. He kicks that to the far side of the ground. We follow this footy. Adams is there. He's had a mountain of footy today. He might have been taken high there by Camrick. He was, says the umpire. Zach Adams, he's had a lot of the footy today. He'd be up in the high 20s, you'd think. Luke, he's collected a lot of footy.
Really liked his game. I think he'd be, we're not giving the votes here today, but you'd have to think that he'd be very much in consideration. And I think the others who should be in consideration for the votes are those brave souls who are still outside in this in these conditions watching their team. Particularly hats off to any Glenorchy supporters who've made the trip down.
So Nicholson inside. What can the Pies do here? Well cut off there though by Kodomski. He's on a play on now. Kicks forward. Roach has got the sit. Carter over the back. Good mark taken by the big man. He's kicked 3 and he could have 4 in the few seconds time, and he's been the difference so far today, Luke.
He has, and I feel for Liam Roach in that situation. Like Godomski just got it, straight line footy, and you knew it was going to Carter.
And he was in front too, Liam Roach. He played it well, but Carter over the top just stuck out the mitts, and as he has done all day, he's been the difference inside 50. And that, he made the umpire work for it, but it's through the big stick, so Carter has 4, the Tigers 8, and that lead's extended out to 25. So 6 minutes gone, 8:7:55. The Tigers to 4:6:30. The Magpies, and if it wasn't danger signs, Luke, a few minutes ago, it is now for the Magpies, considering they haven't been able to put a goal on the board since the late stages of the first quarter.
I reckon that's, you're right, Ryan. That's made it very, very difficult, and the manner in which how dangerous Carter looks when he's when you're left on an island with a guy like that. He's crafty. We saw the last entry; he was trying to snake another one off the ground to match his one from earlier. But you know, you sort of, it's hard because you put numbers back, but then you can't get it forward. So they're in a bind now because they need scores, but they could risk getting blown out, which would not look good after really what's been a great effort.
It has been a really good effort for the opening 3 quarters, and they started the game well, but ever since then it's really been all the Tigers. As Tonkinson and Geert, as they have done all day, those two men, we saw them at half-time in a little bit of a push and shove into it again. So they bring it back inside 50 now. Gardner with the sit. Bounces in front of him, straight into the basket of Lane. He gives a handball out to Brady Rees. Back in today, but Josh Arnold dropped what he should have taken. He's off to Thompson. He just kicks a up and under barrel outside 50 as Tompkinson looks to get the sit. Can't take the mark. Reardon's there for the follow-up. A little bit of a dance around a couple of players. Elijah Reardon. Mark not taken by Ashland. Did everything right there except hold on the footy at the last stage. Riley Ashland. We'll get a ball up as we approach the 8-minute mark. Free kick there. No. As we said, Luke, in the third quarter, it's been push and shove through the majority of the game. Both teams stamping a bit of physical pressure on each other, but on the scoreboard, it's been all the Tigers. So Lovell, out of all of that, will get the free kick against McGuinness. No, it won't be Gardner, in fact. So free kick out of the ruck. Marcus Gardner, he's had a pretty strong season as the ruckman for the Tigers. But again, he hasn't had to do it solo as he did last year. He's had the ability to chop out with guys like Tompkinson, Jordan Lane when he goes in there, and also Connor Salter has also chopped out this year for Marcus Gardner. So good for him to have a bit of support in the tall timber area. That one's gone high up and under. George O'Neill's got the sit. Clifford with a little tap out. Blowfield just sits under that footy as players stop and wait for a whistle. It's not blown. Umpire says play on. Clifford just tries to bust that footy out of the hands of a Glenorchy player. That was Liam Roach. He did well there to hold on to it. So 9 minutes gone now. You'd think it'll be a tough mountain to climb now for the Pies. They're 25 down. Late middle stages of the last quarter, but they've got a mountain of work to do as Brady Rees gets called to play on. Touch off the boot. Kick out to Camrick. Gets a handball away. Gives off to Simpson. What can he do with a footy? Brady Simpson, former Claremont junior player. Only goes so far as Donnelly. Donnelly goes wide with a boundary line beat them. Fist of Josh Arnold will. Andrew throw in.
It's definitely back to the wall stuff here for Glenorchy. That's they're just desperate to break open one of these contests, but the pressure from Kingborough has been immense. They've obviously got the message of, fellas, we've got to lock this one in. We've got to hold serve on our home court, and yeah, the upstarts are sort of being put back in their place a little bit here. But and
this is what good teams do when they're challenged. We know this side's really been spoken about as a main challenger to Launceston in terms of premiership fancies, and they sit second on the ladder for a reason, and Coach Trent Bullen would have definitely challenged his troops at the long break and at three-quarter time again. This is a game we're expected to win even in these conditions. We have to really put our foot on the gas and try to win this game as Graham goes forward, kicks are behind. So 8-8, they even that scoreline out to the home side, 56-30, so 26-point margin now. So they're going to win now, the Magpies. They need to kick at least 5 goals in the space of, I want to say, 15 minutes, potentially, even shorter. So it's a tough task for a team that hasn't kicked a goal in about 45 minutes to an hour of footy, Luke. So,
and we talk about them trying to break a line, but the avenue they want to take on this far wing is overpopulated. That said, they've broken now.
Yeah, they have, through Brady Simpson. Looks for Oakley. Good little kick out away from Julian Parker. What can they do here? Oakley's done well here. He's tracked that ball all the way to the forward 50. Salter just throws that one on the boot. Good little spin and turn there from Blake Way. What can they do here, the Magpies? Can they get one on the board late? Comes out now to Whitford. That is an up and under. It's only going to go so far as Ben Donnelly. Joseph was tracking back late, but Ben Donnelly, who kicked 4 goals the last time these two sides played, was shifted forward late in the game. But that's when the Tigers had a really strong commanding lead. As I said, they won that game pretty comfortably back in round 4, 131-23. So very much an improved effort today from Glenorchy. So that's a small win for the Magpies in a season where they have to take the small wins, because we know what an inexperienced outfit they had to field so far this year. But 2 weeks in a row they've had obviously 2 losses, but 2 really respectable losses, if you can call them that, against the Demons and the Tigers. And that's a strong mark there to Jack Tomkinson. Josh Arnold did everything right there, but the strong mitts of Jack Tomkinson won out in the end, and the big man will get his first shot on goal for the day.
We talked about it earlier, and we observed it in the poor conditions before. This for a big man who's spent a bit of time in the Sunshine State, he's very good in these conditions.
He is.
That's a great mark, and now it'd be just reward if he could put it through.
So Jack Tomkinson, the former Brisbane Lions Academy player, can he put through his first of the day? He can. I believe he's put that through the big 6. He has. So he didn't look like it off the boot too much, Luke, but in the end it went through for a goal. So 9-8-62, 4-6-30. We've got a 32-point ball game, and that is without a doubt the biggest margin the game has seen so far.
And to be fair, Ryan, we haven't liked much off the boot today. It's been any road you can get to go, and that's a good reward for what I think is a good performance from Tomkinson.
Yeah, he's been one of the better ones today, hasn't he?
And Kingborough have done well to not look too big. Their big guys have got that flexibility. We saw Donnelly, I think his calmness down back, and then some of the other big guys have imposed themselves on this game despite the fact that it's been played on the deck. Really, really quite impressive the way they've pulled away here now, been challenged, and then they potentially can put a few more in this. And
that'll be probably the main focal point now for Glenorchy, not to let this lead slip out to pass that 40-point mark, because if it does, it probably won't be a true reflection of how good they've been today. The Pies obviously control the majority of this game, the Tigers, but the Pies have come and they've brought the fight today, and you think in better conditions they might have been able to put a few more goals on the board, but that first quarter they played was a really strong one. Took in a good 4-5, 29 to 2-2, 14 lead, and we thought we could be on the upset, seeing the upset of the season, but the Tigers, they had done all year. They're a strong side at home. They've only, I believe, lost the 1 or 2 games at home this year. They lost that game in the wet a few weeks ago to North Lonnie, so they've been able to rectify that. Might have been in the back there to Dygan. Play on, says the umpire. Up and under ball now. He's got the sit to Simpson. Can't take the mark against Cooper Sorty. That was Max College, sorry. He's going to get the footy now as College. Just tries to paddle it forward. Didn't really want to take possession because he might have felt like if he had it, he would have been tackled immediately. Could have been called against, but the umpires picked a free kick here to a Glenorchy player. I think it's Blowfield it is. So Nathan Blowfield, he's got Arnold on. Doesn't go him because he had Dygan on his tail. Not his best off the boot, but it's worked out well. It's gone to a teammate who gives off to John Geard. Geard goes high up and under. Good spoil there. Works out well for the Magpies, potentially. If they can get inside 50, they do. Jenkins on the deck. Wait, might have been taken in the back. Play on, says the umpire. What can they do? Take them without, it was Oakley. Umpire missed that one. So it should have been a free kick out of the Magpies, which would have taken them deep inside 50. How quick the tides turn, because the Tigers have got that footy, but Roberts just streams out away from Tyler Carter. Simpson with a strong tackle on Clifford. Magpies now. They've got the numbers behind the play here. Blowfield kicks out to Jenkins, who's got Camrick on as a runner. Camrick around the body, not his best, but then they got the numbers. Kicks inside. What can the Pies do here? They're going to need to move quick if they want to kick a few goals here and really give this game a shake. But given they're 32 points down and we're in the 16-minute mark, it'd take a mountain of work here for the visitors. Lovell picks up the footy now. Camrick applies a little bit of pressure. Gets his kick away though, out to Reardon. The intensity of this game, Luke's really gone down a few notches because we know what the result's going to be so far. And Lane doesn't stop that man from putting in 110% effort every time. He takes a strong grab to look for his second goal of the day and to bring the Tigers up to the magical 10.
I think that we talked about teams breaking in. Yeah, the pressure has gone out a little bit from the Glenorchy sense. I think you've got to still give a lot of credit to Kingborough.
Yep.
When Glenorchy have broken a line, they've still been under pressure. They've had to do the up and unders, which in these wins is never going to help you break forward. You know, really hats off to Kingborough that their pressure. And sometimes you don't get credit for pressure when you're the better team, quote unquote. But their intensity's been, it just hasn't dropped off today, and I reckon they've learned a lot from that week against North Lonnie where their intensity did drop off.
Yep, spot on. So Jordan Lane, the big man, looking for his second goal of the day. Can he put that through? He can't. So that takes him to another behind. Takes the Tigers to 9-9. So 33-point margin now as we approach time on late in the fourth quarter. Arnold brings it out. Defensive 50. Magpies have the numbers. Nicholson, the man that kicked that football, goes deep inside. Arnold's there, comes off his knee, so we'll get another point to the Tigers. So 9-10 scoreline now for the home side. So Josh Arnold, skipper for the Magpies, premiership player in the mid-2010s. Kicks out, it's not his best off the boot. It's going straight down the throat of Zach Adams, who's had the footy on a string today. He'll definitely be, you'd think, part of the best players come 5 o'clock today. They're submitted by Coach Trent Buller. And that's a nice little kick inside 50 to a teammate. Too sure I won't get a good eyesight on that man, Luke.
I've loved the game from Adams.
He's been one of the better.
A lovely little pass inside 50 that we haven't really seen today at all.
No, it was a good little chip kick in. I'm thinking it might be Lockie Clifford, the skipper, in fact. And that looks pretty good off the boot from the skipper, it is. So Lockie Clifford, he likes it. And he brings up the 10 for the home side. So 10-10-70, plays 4-6-30 Glenorchy. And we've got a 40-point ball game here late in the last quarter. Down to the Twin Ovals on the Daily Potato Co. live stream.
Brilliant finish from Clifford, and we've seen that a couple of the Kingborough guys, they've picked the wind and they've swung it through, and we've seen some really amazing sort of trajectories today, and he's done that expertly. And just reward, he's had a great game as well, Clifford, all over the field.
Yep.
You know, the skipper can get a bit of reward at the end of a tough battle when he can really break the back of a contest. No wonder he had the smile on his face as he trotted back to the centre square.
He liked it, didn't he? Did the skip up. We'll get a score update for you around the grounds. Lauderdale have taken an 11-point lead down at Skybus. 46 plays 35, 10 minutes gone in the last quarter. While over at Blunson Arena in the top 4 clash between the Roos and the Blues. It's Launceston 69 to Clarence 45. Just about 13 minutes gone there over at Blunston. So Lonnie will look to hold that lead and walk away with another win. And we'll also, in a few minutes, bring you the matches to look forward to next week for round 13. Following round 13, there'll be a full competition bye, and then play back on, I believe, in the first week of July. Saturday, July 2nd, that would be. As Arnold kicks that away, and as far as Salter gives off to Reardon. Elijah Reardon with a nice kick inside 50. Almost well trapped there by Brown. He does well to keep it in front of him. Good work there by Brown against Digan. It's going to come back his way. The Bandalone mates all comers. So next week will be round 13 in TSL action. A mouth-watering clash up at UTAS Stadium between North Launceston and the Tigers. So we've spoken a lot about the game, the corresponding game they played down here a few weeks ago, and the Tigers will go up north and look to rectify that. North Hobart will host Clarence at home next week, so good to see hopefully the Demons with a nice showing today. If they can follow that up next week against the Roos, and at Skybus, Lauderdale will play Glenorchy. So 2 games down in the south of the state, 1 up north, and Launceston will have the bye. So if Lonnie can not get a win today away from home and walk into the bye next week, they get 2 weeks off, which would be good for the ladder leaders. You'd think Coach Mitch Thorpe would like that, just to give his side a refresh heading into the back end of the year and really set themselves up for a big September campaign and look to go deep into September as they have done the last couple of years. Footy back in now to Clifford. Umpire's blowing his whistle though for a high tackle against Adams. So Love will try to get that kick away as the rain and the winds really come down now. And I'll give you a little bit of a warning, Luke. I'll get you to run post-game. I might get you to run through your best for the Tigers. I won't put you on the spot post-game, and I'll pick out a number of players that I've thought have played well for the Magpies. There's been a lot today. Had a really good even spread of the Magpies despite the 40-point margin. Kick out now in the forward 50 for the Magpies. Sorry, for the Tigers, I should say. As Salter gets a handball away. Good tackle applied, though, by Blowfield. That's holding the ball every day of the week, says the umpire. So he's had a good second half as Nathan Blowfield. He's returned to TSL footy. Reardon took that one out in front of Brady Simpson. Up and under, high kick there. Spoil from Roach. And he goes as far as O'Neill for the Tigers. Carter's there also, taken without it by Arnold. And he'll get a free kick, Tyler Carter. So Arnold just lost where the footy was on that occasion, the skipper. And Tyler Carter, on a day that really hasn't been a good one for goal kickers, Luke, could go back and kick his 5th of the day. And
that just goes to show that if you just keep grinding away as a spearhead,
yep,
your rewards can come. And here he is. We'll let him take his shot, and then we might talk about the next week for these guys.
So Tyler Carter, that looks pretty good off the boot. He's ended up with 5. He points to the crowd that are in that back grandstand, and he's finished with 5. Tyler Carter, 11-10-76, the home side, the Kingborough Tigers. Glenorchy still on that 4-6-30 scoreline, so 46 points is our margin. And on a day that really hasn't been won for tall forwards, Tyler Carter's class has shone through, and he's going to potentially finish the day with 5 goals, if not more.
He's done them from the set shots. He's dribbled them from point-blank range. But what he's done is he's always been around, working, presenting, depending on the scenario and the conditions and the way the balls come in. That's a brilliant return. And look at this disgusting weather to get 5 goals. That game against North Lonnie next week for Kingborough is huge up at UTAS. North Lonnie, if they pinch one, if they get that game, they stay well and truly in touching distance for that 2nd spot, which has big ramifications when we do go to September and we start knocking teams out. Who has to travel, who doesn't, who gets a week off, who doesn't. So, that'll be a good one on the Daily Potato stream for people who can't get it to the ground next Saturday. Very exciting. Very excited to see how Kingborough can take the momentum from how they've played today in these conditions, because I think this is a a thumping win really now. I think that the way that they've done it, be challenged, and I don't care what position someone is on the ladder, to be challenged and be up to your neck in the contest, and then to break.
Especially in the weather too. This is in probably dry conditions. This would be maybe, you think, added 30 points to the margin, so you think a 70-point win. So to do it with 46 points on the board and really, as you said, look, get challenged early in that first quarter, go down by 2 goals at quarter time, to come out after that and hold your opponent goalless in that time is a big raps on the Tigers and Coach Trent Bulmer for sure. So as you said, that clash next week up at UTAS, 2 o'clock on the Daily Potato live stream. If you can't make it to UTAS, that will be an absolute ripper of a TSL clash. And as I said, following next week, competition bye, give every side a little bit of a rest and really work our way into the back end of the season, approaching September.
And Glenorchy can take heaps out of this and the week before. Just about, the quote-unquote, and it's so boring when people say the 4-quarter effort thing. Look at that effort from Brown there. These guys haven't given up. And they can go down to Skybus. I just had a quick peek at the weather app. It's going to be a top of 12 and 30% chance of rain. So it might not be this bad, but it might not be pretty. But they've experienced the conditions. You go down to Lauderdale, and anything can happen. And they will have to feel more confident as a group with the way they perform. This isn't doldrums getting flogged every week now. They'll have really to think that they're turning a corner.
But the last 2 weeks showed up for sure that they've really been able to steady the ship. And as you saw last week, Duffy came back last week, who's an experienced ruckman. If they can bring guys like that back in and they can build the group around this young brigade that they've got, it's going to hold them in good stead, not only for the back end of this season, but going into the next season and the one after that. Because the more games you get into these kids, as we've seen the Tigers, they're in the exact same spot going back 3 or 4 years ago. They were really languishing at the bottom of the ladder, picking up 2 to 3 wins a year, but this group stayed together. They were able to add some talent in through the likes of Eddie Cole and Jack Tomkinson, Jordan Lane, but the core group has stayed together, and that's you can see what really helps when you are able to keep your core together and you're able to really keep them together strong and led by a good coach, and the tide can turn pretty quick. So the Tigers should walk away. We should hear that final siren any minute now. 46 points is our margin. So we tick into the 27-minute mark, but as we said, it's been a really good game of TSL footy in what's been terrible conditions down to the Twins, but we can't expect too much more in the early part of June, I should say, in southern Tasmania. As the footy comes up and under, good mark taken by Thompson. He's been one of the better performers today. Well, the Magpies having 17, almost 18 disposals a game this year. Callum Thompson, Brady Simpson, just a footy had a set there for him, he was away, but Reardon got the perfect sit. He kicks inside 50. O'Neill tracks that footy back with Brown. Brown beats both of those young men. So
you're right, we shouldn't expect much better conditions, and obviously with the amount of mainlanders who've come down for Dark Mofa, I'm sure that they've got something to whinge about when they go back to where that came from.
They will, for sure, especially with the raging AFL side debate. That's always a point of contention with mainlanders. It's the weather conditions down in Tassie, but given I was in Melbourne last week, Luke, the weather wasn't too much better than this. It's fair to say it was cold and it was wet, so
that is exactly right.
You don't really want to hear that from especially Melburnians, because it's pretty similar to what we cop down here in Tassie across Bass Strait. We know it's only on a good day a 50-minute flight across to Victoria, and the weather there is pretty similar to Tassie. So everyone jump on the Believe. I think it's believetasmania.com.au and sign up and show your support, because it'd be great to see the state have an AFL side and have a strong TSL competition underpinning that, and then really see that the players be able to have that, I guess, the hierarchy of where they can get to if they perform well at TSL level. And if that, you obviously see guys get recruited out of the TSL, a few times a year, but you're going to have recruiters watching the TSL every week, because you're going to have players you can pluck out of this TSL system that can go up and play in the AFL side. So we see the siren go. Goals kicked on the final siren there. I believe that man is number 17, Julian Parker, so he'll get his second of the day. Julian Parker, and that is all she wrote here at the Twin Ovals. So final scoreline is 12-10-82. The Tigers, while the visitors, they will finish on a scoreline of 4-6-30. So weren't able to put a goal on the board post-quarter time, and only the 1 point after that fact. But in the end, Luke, the scoreline probably didn't reflect the effort from Glenorchy, but in the end, the Tigers, as you spoke about a lot during the call, it was a really strong performance after being challenged early in the game.
Yeah, I think their class and pedigree shone through as the game wore on. 52 points is, if someone told you that without seeing the game, you'd think, oh yeah, that's about what we might have expected in these conditions. But Glenorchy should definitely hold their heads high. They've pushed the second team on the ladder all the way, really. Just that lack of polish probably going forward into their forward entries in these conditions, and they haven't been able to hit the scoreboard after quarter time. But they've shown enough here that they're not going to be easy beats for the rest of the season, and they've got another chance next week against Lauderdale to keep that improvement going ahead of a week off. They should be proud of their effort, but I think, again, Kingborough, they should feel like, you know, we can win in all sorts of different circumstances. We're good enough, and we can take this sort of experience with us throughout the rest of the season. You wanted to talk about better players. I like Lockie Clifford. He got that goal there at the end of reward. Eddie Cole's intensity, along with George O'Neill, we liked across half forward, but I mean, Cole was underneath so many packs. Lovell had that polish at different times that I like. I thought Zach Adams was probably their best player from my vantage point. I'm not sure what others might think, but I think he had a lot of composure. He bobbed up at the times where they were under a lot of pressure and was able to release that and drive them forward. I thought Godomski had some really strong moments when they were under the cosh as well, and you can't go past 5 goals for Tyler Carter. I thought he, as we said, there was a point where he had 3 goals, and 3 goals was the margin, and then he was able to put a few more on. I think he you can't argue with 5 goals in these conditions, and to continually present and create headaches for the Glenorchy, which meant Glenorchy had to have men back when they really needed to be pushing them forward.
No, he was terrific today. Tyler Carter, he finished with 5 for the Tigers. Julian Parker kicked the 2. Singles were to Jack Tonkinson, Jordan Lane, Kieran Lovell, Sam Duggan and Lockie Clifford. For the Magpies, I thought Blake Waite performed strongly all day. I thought Ben Cameron was probably their best player on the ground, especially early. He had a lot of footy. I thought Callum Thompson was really good down back and when he floated through the middle, as well as the skipper and Josh Arnold. And I thought John Geard battled hard, especially in the early parts of that game. And Dom Brown, we saw a few efforts, especially in that last quarter. He applied his trade really well in the back line, and especially that effort on the back flank. I'm sure that Coach Aaron Cornelius, when he looks at that on the review, that'll be one he points out to his side throughout the week. So 52-point margin here in the end of the Twin Ovals. 12-10-82, 4-6-30 was the margin. Luke Edmonds, pleasure as always to call with you, mate.
You too, Ryan.
Thanks for jumping on the stream today. So from myself, Ryan Rosendale, Luke Edmonds on the call, Ash Wilkes in the studio. It was a terrific game of footy. Not great weather-wise, but that's what we get here in Tassie in the middle of June. Stick with us on the stream for the remainder of the season. We'll bring you action next week on the AFL Tassie YouTube page, but goodbye for now.